95 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. Nobody in Kansas City has sports like 96.5 The Fan.
Right side throw, touchdown! Kansas City, a 3-yard touchdown pass in overtime. Kansas City wins the game.
Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
Back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
Live from the Fan Studios. Here's CDOT.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. Usually we have Patrick Mahomes on the show. Wednesdays at 3:15. It has been pushed to Thursday. Chiefs have a little different schedule this week because of the Monday Night Football game. Patrick will still be on the show. He will just be on the show tomorrow and not today. We got a lot to get into in today's show. I believe Bob Fesco is going to call in at some point. We're trying to lock down a time. Think about all the guests that Rob books for us. Rob is having a tough time locking in one of his own coworkers today. So that lets you know the kind of work that Rob was putting in from 11 to 2. We're going to have Matt Evans of Channel 9. He is going to be on the show. We're going to talk about Frank White here coming up in just a little bit as he got replaced yesterday. We're also going to be joined by Binkley. He's going to come in studio. There's a lot of football things to talk to Binkley about. We'll talk a little college football, a little NFL. Knowing Binkley, he'll tell us how good Lee Summit West is so far this year. It's always a fun conversation when we're joined in studio by Jay Binkley. It's been a while since we've had Binkley join us in studio. If you were one to keep up with the baseball playoffs, the Tigers and the Guardians right now are tied at 1 apiece. It is the top of the 6th inning. We'll keep you updated right now on what is happening in the baseball playoffs. Let's get right to it. But before we do, I need you guys to do me a couple of things. Number one, I need you guys listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. Number two, I need you guys to tell one friend to check out the show. And number three, and most importantly, I need you to know that the open of the show is brought to you by our friends over at The Other Place. Stop by, grab yourself something to drink, grab yourself something to eat, watch a little playoff baseball, a little football, all of those things, and celebrate October. A lot of people believe that this is the best sports month of the calendar. You know what? What only seems right to me to kick off the show today is to play for you the words of Bob Fesco. There have been few people in this city that have been as plugged in on this topic as our dear friend Bob Fesco. Listen to what he had to say about Frank White, who got fired yesterday.
It really is a sad fall from grace by Frank White, but he did it to himself, and he had a great job with the Royals being their TV guy. You can't talk trash about the organization when you work for them, and that's why that ended. And, you know, he never became the manager. No other team hired Frank White as the manager either. You don't normally want to hire your quote-unquote heroes to be your manager or your head coach, because eventually, you know what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to fire those guys, right? And so that's not something that you want to do. And so you look at, you know, the whole situation involving Frank. He went from a guy who could have wrote his ticket in this town to do anything to a guy that everybody's packing boxes up for him and kicking him out the door. It really is. Ultimately, you know, we do one word at 7:30. The one word is sad for Frank White right now. It is a sad, sad situation, you know, involving him. But again, he did it to himself. Nobody else can be blamed for this. That's what, you know, life is all about. Things happen to you. It's your fault. Take responsibility for it. And Frank's going to have to take responsibility for this and then getting his ass kicked yesterday at the polls.
I got a couple of different thoughts about this regarding Frank White. Let's get into them. Let's unpack them. Let's start with the big picture and what I think this means for everybody. It doesn't matter if you live in Jackson County. It doesn't matter if you live in Johnson County, Clay County, Cass County, all of the counties surrounding Kansas City's metropolitan area. It is the future of the stadiums. I think in some ways that the teams are letting Frank White be the scapegoat for a lot of their poor planning in all of this. Someone has to be the face of all of it, and Frank is fairly or unfairly shouldering a lot of burden in that discussion, and we'll get back to that. But what I think is really, really important and what I think affects everybody is I think it is pretty obvious that Frank was a hindrance in trying to get something done in Jackson County. And if you are the Chiefs and if you are the Royals, it is your responsibility to get all of the information available before you make a decision. The Kansas offer is there, and the Kansas offer is not changing. Now, I know they've said that they're not going to push the deadline back again. Yes, they will. The state of Kansas will wait until Jesus returns if they think they got a chance to either get the Royals or the Chiefs. So they have not created any deadline. The Royals and Chiefs will let them know when they're ready to move forward with the plan, if they want to move forward with the plan. And Kansas will do everything in their power to try to accommodate this, because you get 2 chances potentially in a century in trying to get the teams to move over to your side of state line. So that's very much important. And one of the reasons why I think this has taken so much time with the Royals and with the Chiefs to come to a decision and to get something done is I think they were waiting for Frank to be done. If you listen to anybody that was involved with this process, anybody that was close to being involved in this process and done any level of reporting, I think it has been pretty widespread known that Frank was a hindrance in these discussions, that it's already hard enough to get a $1 billion deal done. We're talking about 2 teams getting billions of dollars of deals done. And you got to get everybody on the same page. I think it was pretty apparent that Frank White was not on the same page as everybody else, so he got to go. And they got rid of him yesterday. We, the people of Jackson County, got rid of him yesterday. So what I expect to happen at some point in the next 90 days is a sit down with the Royals and Jackson County, a sit down with the Chiefs in Jackson County, and trying to figure out what the plan is and if those sides can move forward. I don't think they were ever going to be able to move forward with Frank White in command and having his hand in some form of the conversation. I think that was a non-starter. I think that was non-negotiable. I think the teams were 100% moving if that was going to be the case. Now, they still might end up moving, but I think it is certainly a lot better today than it was yesterday about the team staying on this side of state line. I also think that this thing is really, really important to note. And why I don't want to lose sight of this, I don't think the Royals put together a very good plan. And I understand that whenever something fails, we as humans usually need somebody to blame for why it fails. It can never fail because you weren't good enough or the other side was better than you. No, it's got to be the refs. No, it's got to be this thing. No, I don't think the Royals put together a very good, cohesive plan. I don't think they initially wanted to put the stadium in the place that we, the public, wanted to be. I don't think they had their ducks in a row. I think the public can see through the nonsense and the BS, and I think the public told them no. What I will give Frank a lot of credit for is he was one of the people that stood up to the Royals and said this plan wasn't good enough. I don't think their plan was good enough. I don't think the Chiefs' plan was good enough. And I do believe that Frank was one of the people that said, if you're going to ask for all of this money, there needs to be a more clear and concise plan on what you plan on doing with the money. And I firmly believe that both teams played on our emotion. And if you live in Missouri, you are terrified of business going to the other side of state lines. And I think they tried to bully the people of Jackson County and the people of Missouri. And I believe that Frank is one of the few people that was willing to stand up and say, no, that's not good enough. Now, what did that get you? I mean, it got you fired. This is just my observation. You can think I'm right. You can think I'm wrong. This is just my observation. You can't mess up people's taxes the way that you did and property taxes and potentially lose the teams. You got to pick a struggle. You can't struggle in both areas, and he did tremendously. Either keep the teams that we love and we care about, and yeah, I mean, the tax is kind of one of those things you just got to live with. They're inevitable. Or you got to fix the other thing, but you can't be deficient and get an F in both grades. Sometimes life is very simple. It's a pass or fail. We love to give out grades, A, B, C. No, this is a simply, did you accomplish your goal or did you not accomplish it? He had 2 major goals. He failed tremendously at both of them. So you get replaced if that's the case. I don't think this fall from grace is maybe as bad as other people do because humans, for the most part, are very, very forgiving. And if the Royals, Chiefs, the city, if they do a good job over the course of the next 3-5 years of kind of embracing Frank White, wrapping their arms around Frank and bringing him back into the fold, into the mix, I absolutely think that Frank White can be back in our good graces. We have certainly let people back into our good graces for far bigger discretions than potentially losing a sports team. So let's see how this situation plays itself out. There are a lot of moving parts. We're going to talk to Matt Evans about it coming up in just a little bit. We will get to football coming up here in just a bit, but you can't fail both of your major tasks and expect to keep your job. That's not how this works. But I also don't want today to just be about the things that Frank White did wrong without acknowledging that the Chiefs put together a half-assed plan that they tried to get us to fund, and the Royals had one of the most scatterbrained, inconsistent, unorganized plans that we have seen to try to get $1 billion from the public. And the public pretty resoundingly told you, no, that's not good enough. So let's see what the future of the Truman Sports Complex looks like. Let's see what the future is for the Chiefs. Let's see what the future is for the Royals. And I also think we got to wait to see what the future looks like for Frank White. We can take you guys' phone calls on this, 913-586-7965. Let's also talk a little bit of football and get you ready for Monday Night Football between the Chiefs and the Jaguars. That's all coming up. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
This is Wyatt Thompson from K-State, and you're listening to The Drive with C-Dot right here on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
BetMGM is inviting you to charge the field this pro football season. Existing BetMGM customers can have a ball without having to sweat. Log into your account to get a pro football no sweat token. Apply the token to your next pro football bet. If you lose with the token attached, you'll get your stake back in bonus bets. That's right. With a no sweat token, you get your stake back in bonus bets if you don't win. There's nothing like a fresh set of downs. And that's just what BetMGM is offering if you don't win with a no-sweat token. Find your favorite matchup and be part of the action. Make this pro football season one for the ages. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
This fall, refresh your home with a special offer from Westlake Ace Hardware. Enjoy $10 off bin interior paint gallons, October 1st through 31st. With an easy-to-apply, easy-to-maintain formula, Bin Interior offers an introduction into the beauty and durability of Benjamin Moore premium paint. Hurry into Westlake Ace Hardware for this limited-time savings and keep your spaces looking beautiful for years to come. Offer valid in-store only, so visit Westlake Ace Hardware today. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Every day, people in pain are taking control of their health and looking beyond traditional medicine. And that's exactly why QC Kinetics is helping so many people right now. If you're dealing with chronic joint pain, listen up. There are real options beyond steroids, surgeries, and meds. At QC Kinetics, patients are getting lasting relief using cutting-edge regenerative treatments that work at the cellular level. We're talking about revitalizing your joints using growth factors from your own body. It's simple. There's no hospital stays, no surgery, and no downtime. So if your knees, back, or shoulders hurt all the time, don't settle. Be smart. Don't let anyone tell you that surgery is your only choice. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation and exercise your freedom to look beyond the same old solutions. Thousands of people across the country are already living better thanks to QC Kinetics. Call 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Saturday appointments available, off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide, a robust new website, and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
At Napa, we've spent the last 100 years building our business into an engine that powers yours. Whether you're big or small, national or local, Napa has the automotive solutions your business needs to stay moving. And it's all driven by a nationwide network of quality parts and exceptional service on one mission: to keep your business moving full speed ahead. That's why we are the pros that know.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
We get it. Attention spans just aren't what they used to be. Heads in social media and eyes on Netflix. But what do people do with their ears? Well, for one, they're listening to audio. Americans spend 4.4 hours with audio every day. Oh, and you want the proof? Well, you just sat through this ad that's now approaching 30 seconds. What could you say to a potential customer in 30 seconds? Let Odyssey put together a media plan tailor-made for your unique marketing needs. Advertise with Odyssey. Visit ads.odyssey.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Follow the station on Instagram at TheFan965 for giveaways and behind-the-scenes content.
We'll get back to the Chiefs here coming up in a little bit, but let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Bob Fesco of, is it still Fesco in the Morning or Fesco and Dusty? I don't know the official new name of your show, Bob. How you doing, man?
I'm good. We're well over a year into it, Carrington, so.
I'm sorry. It's just, it's kind of one of those things, Bob, like whenever I see Starry, I still call it Sierra Mist. I don't call it Joe's Kansas City. It's Oklahoma Joe's. Yeah. I still call your show Fesco in the Morning. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. I like the retro fit of that, and I'm with you. Nobody calls, like, what do we call sandstone? Sandstone, right?
Right now, we're talking to Bob Fesco, morning host here on 96.5 The Fan. I know that's accurate, Bob. Let's start with this. Bob.
Yep.
Now that we have all of this with Frank White, how would you describe his time here in Jackson County?
A failure. I mean, the guy got recalled. That hardly ever happens in the United States of America. So I think if you're one of those guys that got recalled and you got kicked out of office by the people who put you in by a 85-15 margin, you're nothing but a failure. That's the only way I can describe Frank White in Jackson County.
Are you surprised that it was that overwhelming? I mean, usually when it comes to this, I mean, it's like a 55, 60, 40 is considered a blowout. I saw whenever we saw that first precinct and it was 85-15, I was like, oh, yeah, he's cooked. There's no chance then that he has any chance of keeping his job. Are you surprised that it was that overwhelming?
I thought it would be 80-20. I talked to a friend of mine in the political world. He goes, I don't think it'll be that big. I mean, it can't be that big. Oh, but it was bigger. It was 85-15. But, Carrington, you know as much as anybody, you mess with somebody's money, they're going to get mad, and there's going to be repercussions for that. And you open up your tax bill, and all of a sudden you went from paying $6,000 a year or whatever in property tax to $12,000. I talked to somebody today about an hour ago at a luncheon I was at. That person told me their property tax jumped 75%. And I'm like, oh, my God. And it's just like when you start doing that, people can't afford to live. And people are going to – I've talked to so many people that are like, I'm done with Jackson County. I got to move out of the county. I can't afford to live there anymore. And so it's a colossal failure by Frank White.
How much of this do you think was related to the tax issue in Jackson County? How much of this do you think was related to the stadium?
You know, I talked to an elected official actually about this today, and they said, look, yeah, the stadiums obviously play a role in it, but you also went after everybody's money too. You're charging people double, more than double to live there. So I think the money thing was a big issue, and he probably would have been recalled just for that alone. I think the stadium situation and the fact that the Royals are moving across the state line and there's a chance the Chiefs may move across the state line, I think that's what gave him the 85% recall vote for no, too.
Right now, we're talking to Bob Fesco, getting his thoughts on Frank White being recalled as the Jackson County executive. What's next? Do you have an idea of, is there going to be another election? Does somebody get appointed to this? I don't have the answer for this. This position is obviously filled. How do they fill it?
Well, he's going to appeal all of this, right? He's going to go to the Missouri Supreme Court, and he should, and anything's necessary to, try to appeal this thing. But I would imagine you just go to a general election and you find somebody else, or, whoever is one of the county legislatures, maybe they get appointed to kind of fill this whole thing out. But I haven't really thought that far through of, what happens next, because, it was a matter of let's make sure that we do the right thing and remove Frank from office. And another political person told me today, Carrington, they go, dude had it coming. Yeah, he did have it coming. There's nobody that feels sorry for Frank White today in Jackson County, in Johnson County, in Kansas City. I tell people Frank White's been great for the state of Kansas. It's too bad he doesn't represent the state of Kansas.
Have you seen somebody who, I know people have their issues with Frank White. We're not talking about, he didn't have a DUI problem. This isn't a criminal issue or anything. Like, we've seen people fall from grace in that capacity. You've been in this city a long time. Have we seen somebody who 15 years ago was a very beloved figure, was on the Mount Rushmore of Kansas City athletes, that has had this kind of fall from grace?
I don't think so, Carrington. Can you think of anybody? We were trying to, think about it. You could kind of go in the reverse order with Alex Smith, right? When he left, everybody was kind of done for Alex Smith to go. It was time to move on. And as we've seen over the years, Alex Smith is one of the biggest reasons why we're winning Super Bowls, and Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. And so I think he's kind of done a 180 the other way. I don't know that anybody has had a fall from grace this bad. I'm trying to think and grasp at somebody in the sports world, but I just don't think it's happened to anybody like this. This guy went from, as you mentioned, like one of the Mount Rushmore guys, a beloved figure. Now, his stats will say he was a very marginal player. He was a 250 hitter, 216 in the postseason. He was basically like putting up Aaron Judge-like numbers in the postseason. Nothing special, but he was still one of our guys, right? And so when you see this happen, you're like, oh my God, that was one of these guys we were rooting for as kids. One of these guys that was our idol, and he got fired from the Royals, and now he got fired from Jackson County. What's that say?
Right now, we're talking to Bob Fesco about Frank White, who was recalled as the Jackson County executive. Bob, you were as plugged into this as anybody. It would make sense to me if the teams wanted to see what was going to happen in Jackson County before resuming their conversation with Jackson County. Is that what you think is happening? Do you think the Royals go back and re-up those conversations? Do you think the Chiefs re-up these conversations? Or do you think that this doesn't have an effect on what's going to happen with either team?
I think maybe the Chiefs. I don't think the Chiefs ever really stopped their conversations, with Jackson County. I think the Royals probably, if they were talking to anybody, over there, it was probably on the city side, maybe, or North Kansas City. You heard what John Sherman's wife said after the election went down. They were not happy with what went on, in Jackson County. She was very vocal about that, on Facebook. And I think that's kind of the feeling for a lot of people. They were burned. The Royals, I think, felt burned by Jackson County. And they were. They lost that vote. It wasn't handled properly. It wasn't marketed properly by the Royals or either team, quite honestly. There was not a great marketing and campaign about that. But Frank White got in front of it and tried to stop all of that from happening and trying to make stadiums better and quality of life better for everybody in Kansas City. Carrington, I know you live in the city. Look at all the new roads that have been paved downtown because we're getting the World Cup. Sports matter. Sports brings money. Sports supports cities. And you're going to see more and more stuff of the way that sports is supporting Kansas City as we get closer and closer to the World Cup.
That's the part that I do feel for Frank White in all of this is I do think that Frank is being made the face of a really bad plan, and I think he was one of the few people that stood up for it. The Royals did not put together a very convincing package for the public to give them $1 billion to build a stadium. I said this when it happened. The Chiefs' upgrades for the stadiums were marginal. It was like what they do with an iPhone where it goes from the 14 to the 14S. I can see why the public wasn't too excited about giving them $500 million to go out there and make very, very small upgrades to the stadium. I know Frank is being viewed as a villain. I'm with you. His time has to be viewed as a failure. But I do think he was one of the few people that was willing to stand up to the Chiefs and the Royals and say, your plan's not good enough. And the public agreed with that.
Yeah, they absolutely did. And look, I think this whole thing with the stadiums, Carrington, when it was going to be in the East Village and the Royals were going to build that ballpark and the empty land by the J.E. Dunn headquarters down there, and that's where it was going to go, that was going to be great. It was going to get passed. It was a vacant swatch of land down there. It needed to be developed. It was the perfect location. And then, one thing leads to another, and the mayor wants to tie the Power and Light District into the Royals Ballpark District. So they said, oh, okay, we'll go with that. The plan came at the last minute, endorsed by the mayor on a Saturday before the election. Frank White never got behind it. But I still don't think – I think ultimately, Carrington, it comes down to the teams on this. They didn't educate the voters at all about what they wanted to really do. It was kind of dark at night. It was kind of a cluster type situation. I have people every single day tell me, every day, Carrington, why do we need a new ballpark? The Royals should have been out there at every Little League game, every Kiwanis Club, every PTA meeting, explaining why they need the new ballpark and what the ballpark is going to provide and how it's going to, generate more money, how the team's going to be beneficial for it, show the Atlanta project down at the Battery. The Royals did none of that. They just wanted people to vote. The Chiefs did none of that. They just wanted the people to vote. You've got to educate the electorate, and the public in Kansas City was not educated by either team on any of these stadiums. And so did Frank White end up getting involved in taking the no stand? Yeah, but it was before that when he raised everybody's property tax too. And I think that's the ultimate one right there for me.
Which it doesn't make any sense how this has been so hard to really sell the public on a new stadium. I went back and looked it up. The old airport was born in November of 1972. So around the same time that the baseball and football stadium were, and we've obviously seen what a fresh coat of paint can do for an airport. The Royals are trying to do the exact same thing for a baseball stadium. You and I have been to stadiums outside of the city, and you've seen a lot of the new amenities to them. Like, this should be a very easy thing to sell the public, and you're right. They failed at almost every single turn to convince the public why we need a new stadium and also their vision on what the new stadium will be and where it will be.
And I also think, too, Carrington, I think both franchises probably took for granted that people – just go to other ballparks and other stadiums all the time and they see, what these stadiums are like. That's not the case at all. You've got to educate them. And I've been, I think, to 23 ballparks now because we do a ballpark trip every year. And my buddies and I have been doing this since college. And so I've had that opportunity to see what's out there. And then you come back to Kauffman Stadium, you just realize how antiquated, outdated, and how you can't generate revenue there in order to put the best possible team on the field when you see what goes on in Atlanta. 22 bars and restaurants, hotels, companies are there, and that's what they're going to try to do, at 119th with Fiserv being part of the deal and bringing in bars and restaurants and hotels and apartments and being a 365-day-a-year revenue generator where all that money goes back to the team and the team gets to keep all that money. Same with the Chiefs. That's why they need to build that entertainment district so they can be a revenue generator 365. Because in the NFL, every dollar you make on your stadium stays with you. And then you can pay those bigger signing bonuses. And if you get into a free agency war and let's say Denver's offering somebody a $40 million signing bonus, well, Clark can turn around and go, I got 42 because we built all this new stuff. And I've got extra income coming in now that I can spend on talent.
Last thing here, Bob, I believe that people are very, very forgiving. I mean, Frank White is one of the most important Kansas City residents that we have ever had. I know that this stint as a politician, it failed about as spectacularly as it can fail. But we're not talking about criminal charges. We're not talking about any of that. I believe there is always a pathway back to the public's heart. Do you see that? Do you think that the teams, the city, Frank White, do you think that bridge can ever be kind of mended and all sides can move forward?
I mean, this was also a man that was fired by the organization because they didn't like his, whatever he was doing. So it's going to be tough. I really do think it's going to be tough. He's going to have to do a lot of apologizing and mea culpas and admit that he messed this thing up, because when you have everybody mad at you, it's not everybody else, it's you.
That is our guy, Bob Fesco, joining us on the show. Bob, I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you as well, my man. Thank you so much for having me. That was fun.
Absolutely. That is Bob Fesco joining us on the show today. What's their show called?
Fesco and Dusty.
Okay,
very,
I wasn't sure. Fesco in the morning with Dusty. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure which one it was. So I just wanted to be clear. Shout out to Bob. I do think that Bob had a really, really good point there. The Royals need a new stadium. I don't really know how you can argue it, honestly. And we all love Kauffman Stadium. I love Kauffman. You love Kauffman. Like, it kind of is time for the Royals to get a brand new stadium. The fact that they have done such a poor job of explaining that to the average Kansas Cityan, is a really, really bad job on their part. It's a really, really bad job. So we'll see what happens.
He said it perfectly. And I know today is Frank White got ousted day, and we're talking about Frank White, but Bob said it perfectly. I don't think the Royals, or Chiefs for that matter, it's both, did a really good job of educating the electorate. I think both teams were like, fans will go to the polls because fans love us and we're good. And fans went to the polls and said, you guys don't have a plan. And the half a plan you've given us doesn't seem great. No. And ever since that day, I still feel like the Royals and Chiefs have been like, don't worry, we have a plan. As long as you vote for us, we have a plan. You have to educate us. Chiefs, why do you need an upgrade Arrowhead? Why do you need better suites? Why do you need better amenities? Kauffman, why do you need a new stadium? Why should we want a new stadium? I feel like those questions never got answered. It was just, hey, we're the Chiefs, come vote for us. Hey, we're tired of being out here next to the Chiefs, come vote for us. That's never going to get anyone fired up into the polls.
No, it certainly wasn't. Well, let's get to football here, and we'll bounce back and forth. Matt Evans is going to join us here coming up in just a little bit. Really excited to get his thoughts on what happened with Frank White. So I put a poll up earlier today. This was the poll, and I'm curious what you guys think. The Chiefs right now are 2-2. They have 4 games before they play the Buffalo Bills. So, a nice, easy number that we all can wrap our heads around. These are the 4 teams that they play in the month of October. They play Jacksonville on Monday night. That's their only road game. And then the Chiefs have 3 straight games at Arrowhead. Detroit, Las Vegas, and the Commanders on Monday Night Football. What do you think the Chiefs' record is going to be heading into the Bills game? There are 5 possible choices: 2-6, 3-5, 4-4, 5-3, 6-2. I think they'll be 5-3. I don't want to be pessimistic, but I just got to give you guys my opinion. I think the Chiefs lose either on Monday night or to the Lions. I think they lose one of those 2 games. I'm not 100% convinced that their offense is fully back. I think that the Jaguars have one of the more tenacious defense take the football away. I actually think Detroit's the best team in the NFC. I know what the Eagles' record is. I think the Lions are better and a more complete team than they are. And if that game turns into a shootout, I think the Lions have the ability, to keep up with Kansas City in a way that Baltimore couldn't. I also think that Detroit's defense is just better than their team. So I think the Chiefs lose one of these next 2 games. I think they take care of business at home against Vegas. I think they take care of business at home against Washington. I think they're 5-3, trending in the right direction. They've got Rashee Rice back, and they're heading into their most important game of the season. So I voted 5-3 in this one, and I would say if you're 5-3 through your first 8 games, you got through a lot of the injuries, suspensions, and a lot of the things that happened in the first half of the season. You now put yourself into a really good spot with Buffalo and then a bye week to really get going in the second half.
Me and you see this thing similarly. I think they're just going to handle Vegas when that comes up. I'm not worried about it. But I think they'll be 5-3 at the end. And the way I looked at it is between the Jags, who I think we haven't really delved into the Jags because Monday Night Football and all those reasons. The Jags are a little saltier than I think people think. I think people think Trevor Lawrence is overrated. It's a first-year coach. They're still the Jags. Like, they have no fan base. They don't really have, it feels like it's all propped up smoke and mirrors. But they are a better team this year than people think. And then the Commanders, who are supposed to get Jaden Daniels back this week, so we presume he will definitely be back by the Chiefs game on Monday night in Arrowhead when the Commanders take on the Chiefs. I think in those 3 games, the Chiefs go 2-1. I think maybe they lose the Jags and they bounce back and beat the Lions. Maybe they beat the Jags but lose the Lions, then take care of business against Commanders. Maybe they do something I don't foresee coming. They go 2-0 against the Jags and Lions, and then Jaden Daniels just balls out and they can't stop him because he is one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, and he goes out and wins a game. But I think in those 3, which are the difficult 3 in this 4-game stretch, I think they are going to go 2-1. So I had it 5-3 at the end of this thing, which if you had told me in week 1, hey, the Chiefs are going to be 5-3 at the end of going into Buffalo, I would have taken that. I still think you're probably a game and a half back of Buffalo at that point for the number 1 seed, but you're very, very, very much in it for everything if you're 5-3 at that point in the season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, 5-3 to me is just a really good spot, especially when you look at the teams and the fact that you have kind of had to fight with one hand behind your back for a large portion of the season. Like, I don't really know how good Jacksonville is. Like, I think Monday to me is more about it's more about Jacksonville than I think it's about Kansas City. For Kansas City, I've seen the Chiefs win that game 50 times in Patrick Mahomes' career. This is the upstart team that feels good about itself in the first month of the season. We, as the public, don't really know how good they are, and they got a chance to prove to us. But on the flip side, now, I know people will laugh at this comment. This would be one of the bigger regular season wins in the history of the Jacksonville Jaguars organization if they win this game. Home game, Monday night, defending 3-time AFC champion to go to 4-1. They don't have a lot of those seasons in Jacksonville. They've never been to a Super Bowl. They've just never done any of those things. So I'm kind of looking at this of like hey, I'm really interested to see how good Jacksonville is and if they can prove that they can be in this conversation. This is much more perception changing to me for Jacksonville than I think it is for Kansas City. We all know what the Chiefs are at this point, and we've all kind of, I think, established that we're not really going to evaluate them until after the Rashee Rice suspension. We will evaluate the Jacksonville Jaguars if they can figure out a way to get a win on Monday night.
I don't know the game is going to go like this, but I think you'll understand my comparison for the Jags are. And again, we have plenty of time to talk about the Jags. For Jacksonville, I imagine this game feels like that 2015 Monday night game against the Patriots did for Chiefs fans. Remember, the Chiefs were good in 2014, excuse me. Remember that game? It was the day before the wild card game. The Chiefs went out and they throttled Tom Brady and the Patriots, and famously Bill Belichick said we're on to Cincinnati after the game. That was a regular season Monday Night Football win for the Chiefs over the Patriots. If you ask 30 NFL franchises, hey, who did the Patriots lose to that led to the we're on to Cincinnati? They wouldn't know. But for Chiefs fans, that was a statement that we aren't just some flash in the pan. We are a real franchise again. We got Andy Reid. We can compete and we can take care of business against the bully in the AFC. If you're a Jags fan, all dozen of them down there, you got to think to yourself, this is what that is. We have a chance to have the bully of the AFC come down to where we are hometown, and we're going to show people we're more than just schedule driven. We're more than just some plucky underdog story. We are a legitimate team in the NFL, in the AFC, new coach, our quarterback's revitalized. We're going to show the world. That's kind of how it feels. Now, I don't think it's going to go like that Monday Night Football game went for Chiefs and Patriots, but I imagine if we polled people in Duval County, that's how they feel about this game coming up on Monday.
Yeah, text line 913-586-7965. You guys are crazy. Jacksonville's not beating the Chiefs. I mean, I'm picking the Chiefs to win the game. I probably would pick the Lions to beat them if I'm just looking ahead a little bit on why I think they're going to be 5-3 heading into the Bills game. But I don't want to just completely blow over the game against Jacksonville. Not for a team that has shown a great ability to turn the football over. Not for a team that has shown you an ability to get to the quarterback and a team that can run the football successfully. I really think that, your feeling about the next two games really comes down to how much do you believe in the offensive output that Kansas City gave on Sunday. And if you were one of the people that believe that the Chiefs' offense is back, then you think they're winning these next two games. Because if their offense is back with that defense that they have, they will win both of these games. I'm not completely sold on the offense. So I'm going into one of these two games where, hey, are you going to fall into some of the same problems? Are you going to be able to protect Patrick Mahomes? Are you going to be able to run the football successfully? Are you going to be able to get enough? So I still have those questions about the Chiefs offense. They can get answered by going out and continuing to play well, but just the one-off against the 31st ranked defense in the National Football League, that has not gotten me to completely erase all of my thoughts about their offense. So I think that one of these next two games is just going to end up being a lot closer, a lot more uncomfortable than maybe anticipated. So I've got them 5-3 heading into the Bills game. You guys let me know what you think. 913-586-7965. The Chiefs have 4 games before they play the Buffalo Bills. They have 2 games before they get back Rashee Rice. What do you think the Chiefs' record is going to be heading into Week 9 on the road at Buffalo? I'm picking 5-3. I think they lose one of these next 2 games. I think they lose to either Jacksonville or Detroit. I think they're 5-3 heading into it, turning things around, playing with some momentum, heading into their most important game of the season. Let us know what you guys think. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll be joined by Matt Evans of Channel 9. We'll do a cover 3 coming up on the other side. We'll give you our thoughts on Missouri, KU, and K-State. That's all coming up. Keep it right here, so drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, a show that prides itself on getting it right.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5, The Fan.
$100,000 is up for grabs only at Harrah's Kansas City. With 3 ways to win, you could score major prizes. 1. Each day through October 4th, earn to swipe your Caesars Rewards card at a BattleBucks kiosk to instantly win up to $100,000 cash. 2. Collect targets and sink a ship worth up to $1,000 free play. 3. Join us October 4th for drawings with a grand prize of $50,000 cash at Harrah's Kansas City. Visit our website for full details. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Trust, price, and ease of transaction. That's our philosophy at GiveMeTheVin.com. We love to buy cars. Fat ones, skinny ones, curvy ones, fast ones, slow ones, round ones, and square ones. Yes, square body Chevys. We buy them at GiveMeTheVin.com. Go to GiveMeTheVin.com right now, put yours in, and get a quote. We'd love to buy it. GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
Football season is in full swing, and Underdog is the best place to get in on the action. You can select entries and win money right now in Missouri. Yeah, right now in Missouri. Playing an Underdog is pretty easy. Just choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower than stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and more. You get those entries right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. So, between that and ladders, streaks, pick'ems, and champions, you get all of your choices over at Underdog. Like I said, it's so easy to download the app and choose between those options. So download the app today and join me by signing up using promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to score $100 in bonus funds or entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. Underdog, make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets at underdogfantasy.com/web/playing-terms_DFS_.html for details. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6812. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6812. That's 800-575-6812.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro. On them, it's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
With 24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits ended. Balance due if you pay off earlier or cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
This afternoon, expect mostly sunny skies with a high of 86.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Our recruiters' expertise and award-winning AI will find you the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
No matter what side of the state line, KC loves its college teams. The Drive gives you an update on the Wildcats, Tigers, and Jayhawks.
I don't think he made it. I don't think he made it. He did not. K-State stops Kid Ray Miller at the 1.
It is...
Yes. Oh, a walk-off winner from 61. Harrison Mevis.
The local kid from Lawrence scores first.
It's time for the Cover 3.
All right. You know what? Of all the three teams, Missouri to me is the easiest team to give their opinions on. It's quite honestly the easiest team. Missouri has played all 5 of their games at home. They have taken care of business in all 5 of their games. They're probably a little better at quarterback than people thought. They're certainly better at running back than people thought. They have one of the 3 best running backs in college football so far this season. Maybe you would argue the best. I'd probably argue Jeremiah Love is still the best running back in college football. I think Ahmad Hardy's probably been the 2nd best running back in college football. It don't matter. They got a great one who could be first team all SEC. Their defense has been very good, and they have looked good in the games they are supposed to look good. They have 2 parts of their season. Part 1 is over. Part 1 was the part where you expected to be 5-0. You had a coin flip game against South Carolina, at least at the beginning of the season. It ended up not being a coin flip game. Missouri is clearly better than South Carolina. Their season starts October 11th at home against Alabama. Eli Drinkwitz does not have a win in his Missouri career like that one. The closest one you would probably say is the COVID season when they beat LSU at home. I mean, that wasn't a great LSU team, but to beat LSU at home was a really big deal for Eli Drinkwitz. They do not have a win like this. Alabama is a team that can win the national championship, that can go to the college football playoff, marquee tier 1. They don't have a win like this. It'll be the biggest Missouri football win since the Johnny Manziel game, 2015, where they went to their 2nd consecutive SEC championship game. It's probably the biggest win they've had in possibly a decade. A massive, massive win. The season begins for Missouri next Saturday against Alabama. Everything they have done so far is good. If you want to dream big and how great this season can be, it starts with them beating Alabama at home.
I mean, Missouri fans should absolutely start to dream a dream. Like, even if you lose to Bama, and I think there's a really good chance you beat Bama, because, by the way, have you seen Bama's schedule for their second half of the season? Absolute murderer's row. They're going Georgia, Vanderbilt, Missouri, back to back to back. Like, you're getting them after that 3-game gauntlet. It's a really good spot to get them if you're the Tigers. But the Tigers should absolutely start to dream a dream about making the college football playoff, because you're getting Bama, as I said, schedule-wise, advantageously. They're on the 3rd game of 3 tough ones. Oklahoma, we don't know the situation with John Mateer. If they don't have John Mateer, they are not as good of a team. They just aren't. That defense is still good, but they do not have the offense. They will look like Oklahoma of last season. I know they still have Vanderbilt and A&M, but if you can get Oklahoma without Mateer and you can get Bama 10-2 and your last year's Tennessee team, yeah, you're probably a 12 seed or 11 seed in the college football playoff, and you might have to go on the road in the first round, and maybe it doesn't go well. You end up at Penn State or whatever, but You don't care about what happens in the playoff. Making the playoff is the goal, and there is absolutely no reason you can't believe that is happening based on the way their schedule is starting to shake out.
Yeah, you and I have talked about it. Missouri has 5 massive games. Maybe you want to add Mississippi State, but that game is at home. If you lose Mississippi State at home, you're just probably not a playoff team, if I'm being completely honest with you. But I don't care how good they are. You're just not a playoff team if you lose to them, not at the crib. If you got to go 3-2, but you are starting that stretch, you know one thing you can't do, you can't be losing the home games because on the road against Vanderbilt is tough. You play Oklahoma later in the season. You mentioned John Mateer. He might be playing at that point at the end of the season. Like the road games that you do have, you got to take serve of the games at home, and then you deal with what you got to deal with on the road when you have a coin flip. I don't know if you can look at Missouri as a truly playoff caliber team if they lose this game next Saturday to Alabama. So I think they're just a very easy, straightforward team to kind of evaluate.
Real quick, I'm sorry. I didn't mean apologize for interrupting. You think if they lose to Bama...
I was ready to move on and talk about your team. You want to talk more Missouri football?
I just want to make sure I heard this correctly. You think if they lose to Bama, they are not a playoff team? Because I think Bama is better than you've given them credit for most of the season.
I agree. No, I 100% agree. I'm just saying is if you were telling me that so far this season, we agree. They have won every game that they are supposed to win. 100%. The first time they play a true coin flip game, they lose. That team ain't making the college football playoff.
Okay.
I mean, they will have another nice season. They'll go 9-3, and they'll go to a decent bowl game. They are not going to the playoff if they lose to Alabama. Not starting this stretch. Alabama on the road against Auburn, on the road against Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, on the road against Oklahoma. You got to start that stretch with a win. Because I would say you have to expect to lose either to Auburn or Vanderbilt on the road. Missouri has not proven to me, and I think most teams, that if you're a fringe playoff team, which you agree that's what Missouri will be, they'll be somewhere between the 7th and 11th seed. You usually don't win back-to-back road games in conference play. One of those two teams gets you. So if you think you're going to lose one of those road games, then yeah, that's the one you got to take care of. You got to take care of business at home. Let's talk about your Kansas Jayhawks team. I'm not as down on KU as maybe KU fans are. Now, maybe now you got a little bit of time to remove yourself, and I understand the frustration of losing that game. I think Kansas is a 7-5 football team. I think 7-5 football teams lose games like the one that they lost. I think Cincinnati is maybe a little bit better than people want to give credit to. Their quarterback is certainly a lot better than I think people wanted to give credit, and I think KU lost a shootout to that team. I think they'll win the UCF game. I think they have a great chance of beating K-State, Oklahoma State. I think they can beat Arizona. Like, can they get to a bowl game this year? Can they find a way to win 6 games, 7 games? I think there's a pathway to them doing that.
I agree they're probably a 7-5, 6-6 type of team, which I understand why KU fans are frustrated by it. New stadium, they felt like they had something special with their quarterback coming back. I get why that feels like a little bit of letdown, even though it is a step forward. I think for me, the question with KU is, can you maybe not compete for a Big 12 title? Can you beat one of the teams you're not supposed to beat? They got Iowa State on the road. They got Texas Tech on the road. They got Utah at home. They probably go 0-3 in those games. But fan sentiment about the team going 8-4 and stealing just one of those games is light years different. If you're telling me into the offseason, KU an 8-4, but they found a way to beat Utah, fans will feel a lot better about Lance Leipold. They'll feel a lot better about the program than 7-5, but they just feasted off teams that they're supposed to beat. Because to date, we're talking about Missouri. They've won all the games they're supposed to win. KU has not stolen a game yet, and if you think you want to take that next step as a program, you have to steal a game somewhere, and KU just hasn't done that this year.
Yeah, but I guess maybe in theory, I mean, the stealing a game, I would say that there was only one. Like, Missouri is a better team program. Missouri has more talent. They also played Missouri on the road. I'm not even saying this as a Missouri fan. Expecting to go on the road and beat Missouri, I think, is an unrealistic ask for KU where they are as a program.
I just don't think they should. I don't think KU wants to go 0-4 in games where they feel like they could steal one. Because Missouri, Tech, Iowa State, Utah, those are the 4 where it's like, can you go 1-3 and feel better about the program? Where 0-4 and you're already 0-1 in that stretch just feels like you're the plucky 6-6 team every year.
Which I would say that KU hasn't been a whole lot in their college football time. Like, that's the thing we were kind of going back to Monday when we were having this conversation. Like, I think KU fans are kind of thumbing their nose at something that they have very rarely been. Kind of like almost the exact same conversation as the Royals. The Royals win 82 games, and now that's not good enough for you. They've won 82 games 6 times in 25 years. Now we're talking about how the Royals have failed? No, I don't know if that's the case. I don't even know why I'm going to ask you this question because I know you're about to start hating. What are we doing with K-State? Because technically K-State is still in it. They only have one loss in the Big 12, even though they lost to Arizona, who was in the Big 12, but not a Big 12 loss. It doesn't make any sense. It's all confusing. None of it makes sense.
Classic non-con in-conference loss.
Doesn't make any sense. It feels to me like Saturday is the swing game for them. It's the swing game. You have a road game against Baylor. I think Baylor has been better than K-State, but that is a game that K-State can win, especially with the version of Dylan Edwards that they just got on Saturday. If they can get that game, they get back to 3-3, you can very easily turn this thing around. You got a home game against TCU, a game that you should feel like you can win. You got a game against a team that you have beat for 16 consecutive years, and you got a home game against Texas Tech. So it has started very poorly for K-State, no question about it. They can turn this thing around real quick in Manhattan if they can just find a way to win this game. They got to go on the road, and they got to beat Baylor. If you can do that, you can turn your season around. It's right. The pathway for them turning this thing around is right there. But there is no pathway if you lose to Baylor.
I agree. The pathway is there if they beat Baylor, because then you got TCU. You get a bye before KU, which I think also helps. Texas Tech's very good, but if you lose to Texas Tech, that they're going to win the Big 12, you're no harm, no foul. I also think that's the positive side of the coin. The flip side is if you lose to Baylor, TCU might be more talented than you. This thing can get away from you quickly. Like you're talking about go down to Waco, steal one, then you feel good. You can maybe beat TCU. Now you're 2-0, getting ready for a game in Lawrence. All right, that's exciting. If you're 0-2 in that stretch heading to Lawrence, the season can absolutely spiral in the blink of an eye. I don't know what to do with K-State. I'm not even trying to hate. I don't know. They look good against UCF. They look terrible in every other game I've seen them play.
That's
so
for sure.
I don't know which version of the K-State is real. I would take the sample size of 4 games, but they did look good against UCF.
And that's why I think the game against Baylor is the sign, right? To your point about KU, you got to steal one. If you're K-State, you got to steal one, especially when you lost to Army. You got to steal one. You got to steal the road game against Baylor because your road games this year, I mean, KU, not a tough place to play, and we know that K-State fans are going to show up for that one. On the road against Oklahoma State, they've already fired their coach, and on the road against Utah, Utah's already lost the home game so far this year. So, like, if you're talking about the road games that you don't have the most difficult stretch in the Big 12. If you can figure out a way to win on Saturday, you get back to 500, you're still in this conversation of one of the better teams in the Big 12, and you could certainly salvage your season. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll be joined by Matt Evans of Channel 9. We'll get his thoughts on Frank White, who was removed as the Jackson County executive. That's all coming up. Keep it right here, so drive.
The Drive with CDOT. Tune in as Nate Taylor of ESPN joins the show in studio every Friday at 4 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey, almost Andy Reid here. It's been an honor to give back to the community that's embraced me being almost your head coach. Thanks for letting me be part of your team. Renner Garage Door is a teammate of mine that also values the community that they served for decades, always giving back and delivering wins with top brands like Geldon, Amar, and Liftmaster. Need a repair or replacement? Get a free estimate today. Forward and back.
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R.
BetMGM is inviting you to charge the field this pro football season. Existing BetMGM customers can have a ball without having to sweat. Log into your account to get a pro football no sweat token. Apply the token to your next pro football bet. If you lose with the token attached, you'll get your stake back in bonus bets. That's right, with the no sweat token, you get your stake back in bonus bets if you don't win. There's nothing like a fresh set of downs. And that's just what BetMGM is offering if you don't win with a no-sweat token. Find your favorite matchup and be part of the action. Make this pro football season one for the ages. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
Designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
Windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
That's the sound of James adding long-lasting Gain scent boosters to his laundry this morning. Several hours later, James sniffs the irresistible scent of Gain on his shirt. Gain. Several hours later, James has even caught the attention of his mother-in-law, and she never gives him attention.
Ooh, you smell amazing, James.
Oh, thanks, Mom. I love you too.
I never said that.
Add Gain scent boosters to your laundry. Add joy to your day.
Airman here for Midwest Heating. Now, we like to approach life in a lighthearted manner, but with the projected rise in natural gas prices, this winter's heating bills may be no joking matter. Many old furnaces have efficiency ratings as low as 60%, which means you're literally burning money. So think about this. Midwest Heating has a variety of high-efficiency Lennox systems that can heat your home, drastically improve your air quality, and boost that efficiency as high as 99%. Saving that kind of money each month will be a nice help for the other bills in your life. Even better, Midwest offers up to $1,800 in rebates on qualifying Lennox home comfort systems and up to 60-month 0% financing with approved credit. Dial 943-8787 or go to MidwestHeating.com for complete details. Now, for 7 decades, it's the same story. Trust your air to the best. Midwest. Midwest Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
At Napa, we've spent the last 100 years building our business into an engine that powers yours. Whether you're big or small, national or local, Napa has the automotive solutions your business needs to stay moving. And it's all driven by a nationwide network of quality parts and exceptional service on one mission: to keep your business moving full speed ahead. That's why we are the pros that know.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
Hey, September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, which is the second common form of cancer among men. There are many risk factors like age, race, and family history, but there are lifestyle and prevention tips to help minimize your risk of prostate cancer. Eat a balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and lean proteins. Stay active with regular exercise. Maintain a healthy weight. Limit high-fat and processed foods. Don't smoke. Guys, encourage men in your life to talk to their doctor about prostate health. Zero's Run Walk is coming to Kansas City. Help raise funds and awareness for prostate cancer. Early detection saves lives. Don't wait. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Wildcat fans, this is Wyatt Thompson. Tune in all season long to the play-by-play of the 2025 football season, right here on your home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
We are very happy to be joined right now by Matt Evans. He is with Channel 9 News to get his thoughts about Frank White, who has been removed as the Jackson County executive. Matt, really appreciate you making time for us today, man.
Carrington, my friend, it is good to talk to you again. You know, we had a good thing going earlier this summer with all the legislative moves in Jefferson City and Topeka, but I haven't talked to you for a while. How you been?
I'm doing fantastic. I was just going to ask you, have you been able to fill that void in your life by not coming on the show? But it sounds like you've been really struggling lately.
I have been. You know, man, I've found other outlets, but none have quite lived up to it.
So let's just start with this. I am not surprised that he got recalled. I am a little bit surprised that this was a beatdown of epic proportions.
Yeah, I mean, nobody is surprised that this recall happened. We were talking about it in the newsroom yesterday. You know, the question wasn't, does he survive or not? The question is, how bad does he lose? Because we've been talking to voters for weeks now. This recall election has been going on for a long time. And Frank White supporters have been hard to find in Jackson County, Missouri. We tried, every time we tried to go do an election story, we want to get a Frank White supporter on because we want to be balanced on our coverage, and they were tough to find. So it was pretty clear that the majority of the county was not interested in retaining him as county executive. But 85-15, that's a huge difference. I mean, the turnout was low as it's expected to be an election like this, but that is a pretty strong rebuke of the county executive from Jackson County voters.
So if you're him, why would you try to fight this? I mean, the public has pretty clearly came out in resounding fashion and said, we don't want you in charge anymore. But maybe it's ego, pride, whatever you want to say. It sounds like he's going to try to fight this thing when the good thing for everybody with him, for him to do, would just be quietly accept this and just move on.
Well, if you talk to Frank White, he's done some interviews here in the last few weeks that he hasn't done for a long time. He believes he's been unfairly targeted, and he believes that there's been dark money behind this effort to get him out of office. He thinks it's all because of the Royals and Chief Stadium's dealings. He's talked about how this effort to recall him has been funded by folks like the Heavy Constructors Association, who obviously are very pro-new stadium in Jackson County, Missouri. So he believes he's been unfairly targeted. He says that the county assessment mess was not necessarily his fault because the county was undervalued so much in its residential properties for years and years and years. So in his mind, he's done nothing wrong. He's been unfairly targeted. So that's probably why we will see a lot of these legal challenges play out in court, the latest of which was denied by the Missouri Supreme Court just less than an hour ago. So certainly there will be more legal challenges. If those get anywhere, though, is a whole nother question.
I think Frank could have really done himself a big service if he had just been more open and transparent from the very, very beginning. The fact that he has been so elusive, he didn't come on radio shows like this. He didn't kind of make the rounds and just kind of communicate why he felt the way that he felt about the stadium. We can get to the taxes issue, which is a separate issue, but the fact that he was so hard to get a hold of for basically 2 years didn't do him a lot of favors when he actually needed those favors.
Well, that's certainly a case can be made for that. If you talk to Frank White, his argument is that he was held by NDAs, non-disclosure agreements for a lot of those things. He says he didn't want to show his hand as far as how negotiations were going. So certainly if you talk to him, he says he has good reasons for not being forthcoming with that information. Obviously, these negotiations are high profile. A lot of people want a lot of information. He was not comfortable providing that information. But, yeah, I think even just a little bit, even just a nugget of information about some of these dealings could have certainly helped the public's view of him in the long run.
Right now, we're talking to Matt Evans of Channel 9, just getting his thoughts on Frank White, who has been recalled as the Jackson County executive. Matt, how much of this do you think is related to property taxes and people's frustration with that? How much of it do you think is related to the stadiums?
I think most of it's property taxes. That is something that every single person in Jackson County feels every year when you go to pay that property tax bill, and it has doubled, tripled, quadrupled in some cases, and a lot of times there was seemingly no rhyme or reason behind it. That hits people directly in their wallets. Any voter I talked to in the last couple of weeks, they said property taxes first, but also the stadium mess second. So I think the property taxes was probably the final nail in the coffin for Frank White because he has continued to defend the position of the county in this property tax mess that has seen multiple legal challenges, still under multiple legal challenges, and has not willingly rolled any of that back. So I really think when you talk to voters who were voting yesterday, they are upset about the property taxes, and they're hopeful that a new county executive can rein some of that in. Now, that is a huge question if they can or not. There's also going to be a question in November if the county assessor should be an elected position instead of an appointed position. That probably passes as well. So certainly there will be changes coming to the assessment department in Jackson County. Exactly what those changes are and if they can make a true impact when it comes to the final property tax bill, that's another question too.
The whole thing about the taxes, and we don't have to dive super into it. I understand that this is a sports talk show, but just from my understanding of it is people clearly could see that something was wrong, and their answer just seemed to be, oh, well, at every single turn, you got to pay it, which I think frustrated a lot of people. It wasn't just people who own homes. It was small businesses. So many people were affected by this, and there didn't really seem to be a lot of communication about what was going on. There didn't really seem to be a lot of empathy about what was going on. So you alluded to it. Some people have their taxes quadruple. A lot of people just don't have the extra income to now pay 4 times than what you expected to handle all of this.
Right. And to Frank White's credit, he is correct by saying that a lot of Jackson County is undervalued on the tax rolls. When we saw huge increases in property values in the last 10 years, property taxes did not keep up with that. The problem is you can't bring it back in line in a single year, because that's how you get those quadrupling taxes. So what a lot of counties have done statewide that haven't had this issue, if they've initiated a cap, maybe 15% a year, and then eventually you bring those values back in line with their actual value. But you don't do it all in one year because that's how you get that sticker shock. So, I mean, he's not wrong that certainly a lot of properties in the county have been undervalued for years. They tried to do it all in one fell swoop, and that's where a lot of problems happened. If maybe they could have stretched that out for a few years, people might have been more understanding. I get it. I bought this house for this price. It's valued for, $200,000 less. I understand there's maybe a discrepancy there, but, do it little by little so it doesn't hit you like a ton of bricks when you look at your tax bill.
Right now, we're talking to Matt Evans. Let's transition to the stadium. You mentioned that the stadium played a part in it. How big of a part do you think it played in it? I mean, it seems to me that both of the teams kind of used Frank White as a scapegoat for. I don't think the Royals had a great plan. I don't think the Chiefs had a good plan. No one wants to blame Clark Hunt. No one wants to blame John Sherman. Let's blame Frank White.
I think you're right on it there, Carrington. I mean, when you look at what happened in Jackson County before this vote, Frank White was against the vote ever happening in the first place. He campaigned against the vote. Once it finally got onto the ballot, the legislature had to override his veto. So a lot of people saw that as the head of the county being unwilling to play ball with the Chiefs and with the Royals. And when people in this community are so passionate about both of those teams, they want to support them, no matter what. And they see the person steering the ship at the county side not supporting them, not finding a way to support them. I think that sent a message to a lot of voters. And I think that the teams absolutely pointed to Frank White as a scapegoat in this process. Is that fair? Maybe not entirely. Did he play a role? He certainly did because he campaigned against it. But I think that certainly was weighing on voters' minds as well. Probably not as big as the property taxes, but if you wanted to find a reason to vote Frank White out of office, you could have found a bunch. If you wanted to find a reason to keep him in office, you probably couldn't find as many, or you weren't going to be as passionate about going to the polls yesterday. People that went to the polls yesterday were upset. They were mad. They had reasons to be mad, and that's why we saw the vote go 85-15 against them.
It's kind of crazy, Matt, but in hindsight, what Frank was saying, he wasn't wrong. The Royals didn't have a great plan, and were asking for a whole lot of money without a lot of transparency on what they were going to do with the money. The Chiefs' upgrade ideas were minimal at best. This kind of goes to my point earlier about just simply communicating the why and just being more transparent in the entire process. I don't really think that Frank was wrong in his opposition. I just don't think he handled it very politically or very diplomatically.
Yeah, I think you're right, and truly, the plans were flawed from both of the teams, and you can point to a whole lot of reasons as to why that is. But Frank, the way Frank played this politically was he held his cards close to his chest. He never really let other members of the legislature in. That angered a lot of members of the legislature because they're like, "What are we doing here, Frank? We need to move on this." And Frank has said, I signed an NDA or I can't talk about it. Trust me, I've got it. And well, he hasn't done a lot to get the trust from a lot of members of the legislature. There's been that, a very, very tense relationship between the county executive and the county legislature now for years. So he certainly didn't play it very tactfully when it comes to communicating with the county legislature, communicating with the public, and then ultimately communicating his position.
Right now, we're talking to Matt Evans of Channel 9 for a couple of more minutes here. So back to the stadiums, what do you think the future looks like, at least from this perspective? I don't think that the Royals and Chiefs were going to do anything as long as Frank White held the seat that he had. But now that he's not there, what does it look like for Jackson County now that at least a perceived roadblock has now been removed?
Well, I think for the Royals, it could make a difference because the Royals could go back to the county potentially and begin negotiating with them again. I mean, after we saw the vote fail, we saw a lot of comments from Royals leadership not wanting to work again with Frank White specifically. So the Royals have essentially, if they're going to stay on the Missouri side, they've been negotiating with the city of Kansas City, Missouri primarily. Could this bring Jackson County back into the fold? It could potentially. We're also fairly far along in these negotiations. I mean, you got to remember that the lease expires fairly soon in stadium terms. There was going to be a deadline earlier this year in Kansas. That got extended. So I think for the Royals, it certainly could play an impact coming back to the county, beginning those negotiations again with whoever the new Jackson County executive is. For the Chiefs, I don't know if it makes that much of a difference. I think we've always known the Chiefs' path in both Kansas and Missouri. The Missouri path would include another vote in Jackson County. Now, I don't think they need Frank White to get that done. I think the majority of the legislature supported that vote if the Chiefs do decide to stay on the Missouri side of the state line. So I don't know for the Chiefs if Frank White was as integral to their plans in Jackson County, Missouri. For the Royals, on the other hand, it certainly could make a difference.
Do you have any idea of what a timetable could be? I mean, this thing, the vote, failed in April of 2024, and we still have absolutely no clarity, no idea of what's going to happen. I don't think it's very likely that the Chiefs are going to announce their stadium plans during the football season. So are we talking about spring of 2026? So 3 straight springs and summers of having the exact same conversation?
It's the gift that keeps on giving, or in some cases keeps on taking. Yeah, I mean, as far as the timeline goes, if you remember over the summer, the Kansas legislature extended their Star Bonds proposal to the teams. Legally, they extended it for a full year. That was the only option they had under the law. However, the Legislative Coordinating Committee made up of House and Senate leadership said, we will only allow this offer to be accepted until the end of this year. So they've broken their deadlines before. They could break this one, too. Legally, they could. But if you take House and Senate leadership in Kansas at their word, the Royals and Chiefs need to make a decision on the Kansas side by the end of this calendar year. So we could certainly hear something by the end of this year. But again, that deadline, it's another arbitrary deadline. It could be broken, too. So I don't know what the timeline's going to be. It could be anything. But I think you're right. I think it likely extends into next year. I don't know how serious the Kansas legislature is about this deadline. They said they were serious about an earlier deadline over the summer, and then they clearly were not serious about that because they extended it. So, I mean, when you look at all the deadlines that have missed, all of the ups and the downs and the Royals and the Chiefs and the Kansas and Missouri and the different counties and all the things that go into this, it doesn't seem like we're anywhere closer to a resolution as we stand now than we were after the vote failed back in 2024.
Last thing here, Matt, and I appreciate your time. I would have never envisioned that we would have the extension to the streetcar before we have clarity on where the Chiefs and Royals are going to play. I would have, if you had told me in April that would have been the case, I'd have called you a liar.
Yeah, I mean, you're right on it, and we might see a few more big things happen in Kansas City before we have these final deadlines. And I do understand that these are giant, massive, generational deals, and they take a long time to put together. But I think a lot of people in Kansas City are just ready for a decision and are ready to figure out where these teams want to play ball.
That is Matt Evans of Channel 9 joining us on the show today. Matt, great stuff, man. Look forward to catching up with you down the road.
Carrington, thanks, man. Good to talk to you.
Absolutely. That is Matt Evans joining us on the show today with Channel 9, giving us his thoughts. I want to read this text to you guys. Text line 913-586-7965. Guys, I think Frank White's number should be unretired. He is a disgrace to the Royals and KCMO. I want to say, let's just calm down a little bit. We were having this conversation with our dear brother, Steven Spector. In fact, that was our Spec Says for the day. Let me play for you what Steven Spector had to say about this exact same topic.
All right, I guess what I'm about to say isn't going to make me any less unpopular than Frank White, but let me at least ask the question. If this team being the Royals, move to Kansas, should the number 20 remain retired by the organization? And the reason that I ask that question is I think it's been pretty clear from the beginning that John Sherman wants downtown baseball. But one of the biggest hurdles in making that happen has been Frank White. So if the Royals move to 119th and all and leave the state of Missouri and leave Jackson County, do the Royals make the decision to unretire Frank White's number 20? Would it be petty? Yes. Would it be for non-baseball reasons? Yes. Would it be for non-baseball reasons that didn't include a crime or some sort of heinous act? Yes. But in the last decade and a half, there's been an unceremonious firing as a broadcaster after taking shots at the organization, and then as a politician being a hindrance to progress for not only the organization, but the county that the team originally wants to be in and has been in for their entire existence. Frank White and the number 20 are synonymous with the Royals and their history in Jackson County and at Kauffman Stadium. But if they ultimately end up at 119th and all in a different state, I don't think the Royals owe Frank White anything in that case.
Okay. I'd love to get you guys' opinions. 913-586-7965. This is my stance on this. Frank White is not a criminal. If Frank White was accused of some heinous acts and we were talking about removing his statue or removing his number from being retired, I'd be on you guys' side. If Frank White had killed somebody, I'd be on your side. If Frank White got caught and we had him secretly recorded and he was saying some of the most reprehensible things that you had ever heard, I'd be on you guys' side. His number should be unretired because he was a bad politician? We're not accusing him of being a crooked politician. Maybe that's the same thing. He just wasn't good at it. No. That seems too much, in my opinion. I don't think that now you can erase the baseball legacy of Frank White because the post-career things haven't gone as planned. And again, we're not talking about taking O.J. Simpson out of the Hall of Fame. I could see why they would want to do that. This man killed 2 people, allegedly. That's not what we're talking about with Frank White. Frank White is still one of the most important people in Royals history, in Kansas City sports history. Grew up in this area, was part of the World Series team, both of them in 80 and 85, one of the most important players to play. You don't have to do this. We don't have to do this. No. Frank White should continue to be honored in the way that he is honored. And I also think it's very important to note that time heals all. I was here. I remember when Larry Johnson did a 30-minute interview with Bob Fesco, and the city was ready to embrace Larry Johnson again, who was hitting on women at the club. Now, he did a lot of things after that to get people to turn their back on him, but people usually forgive. They usually forgive. And what Frank White did, it's not unforgivable. Like this stance right here, CDOT, you wouldn't be saying that if you were a homeowner in Jackson County. What does that have to do with him playing baseball? What does that do with him playing baseball? It has nothing to do with him playing baseball. Nothing. None. We celebrate Jared Allen. You guys know why Jared Allen wasn't on the Chiefs anymore. We don't got to go back through the man's past. I just think now we've taken it too far. That's what I think we've taken a little bit too far. I'm willing to just leave Frank alone. Leave him alone. Out of sight, out of mind. I would tell Frank, let's not appeal this thing. Let's take your loss. Let's be humbled by this. Let's go away and do your thing. But now we're trying to take his statue out of the stadium. We're trying to unretire his number. I don't think he's done anything to warrant being treated that way.
So I agree with you, but I could see the organization, which has already scapegoated him once in the vote and all the things leading up to it, because all we hear about is how Frank White's the villain, Frank White's the villain, Frank White's the villain. I could see the team, if they end up on 119th and all, I'm going to put that huge caveat on here. If the Royals end up across the state line, I could see the team being petty and taking number 20 down. He still gets to say in the team Hall of Fame. He still gets to have his gold gloves out there. And if a fan goes out to the new stadium and they're like, hey, how many gold gloves did Alex Gordon have? Oh, how many Frank White have? It will still be out there. But I could see the team, which has already taken a little bit of a petty path with Frank, continuing down that pathway if they end up on 119th and all. Because that's the big part of this to me. If the team ends up downtown, 100% I agree with you. He was an encumbrance on the moving downtown, but eventually they got what they wanted. Life goes on. If he's on 119th and all,
the Royals, they're not leaving the area. I could understand if the Royals were moving to San Antonio and they made that decision. They're moving 17 minutes away. So now everything that Frank White accomplished in the Royals organization is lessened because they moved down the street? We don't have to do this. I agree with this. He tripled property taxes for no rhyme or reason and ruined local businesses. It's simple, but he should continue to be honored as the Royals, but he was horrible for Jackson County. Exactly. That's all I'm saying. He was bad as a politician, but that does not erase everything that was done with the Royals. Someone made this point. Let me find it really quickly. Text line 913-586-7965. Guys, this is a lot like what you were arguing with Russell Wilson, that Russell Wilson played himself out of the Hall of Fame. Yeah, but in this analogy, Frank White is already in the Hall of Fame. He wasn't questioned. It's not like we're talking about, it's not like, for example, right now, if Eric Hosmer ran for all of these things, right? Eric Hosmer ran, and then 5 years from now, we realized it was a disaster and we haven't already done it. Frank's already been there. They've had Frank's number retired for, what, a decade? I mean, they certainly have had it up there since the renovations for the stadium, so even longer than that. His number has been up there retired. That statue has been out there for 20 years. Now we're just going to take the statue away? No, I'm not. Come on now. I voted to recall the man, but we don't got to do this. Stop. 913-586-7965. Spec says that if the Royals move to the Kansas side, the number's got to come down. The statue has got to go away. We basically have to erase the memory of Frank White with the Kansas City Royals. I think that's extreme. What do you guys think? Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
Here we go again. Windows for Warriors is back, baby. Powell Exteriors KC accepts nominations October 1st through November 1st for military veterans and first responder heroes as a thank you for their service and sacrifice to our country and community. Veterans Day, we will announce 5 lucky recipients of free Energy Star window upgrades. It's this easy. Go to powellkc.com and click the Windows for Warriors link to nominate your hero today.
This is James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. With rates as low as 4.5% and your home's equity at record highs, now's the time to refinance. Our cash-out customers save an average of more than $1,000 a month and even skip 2 payments. Call 913-890-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Thank you for making Total Wine & More America's #1 online source for spirits, beer, and wine. Better than all those delivery apps. Total Wine's prices are up to 30% lower with super fast delivery and no hidden fees. Order direct at TotalWine.com and pay less today.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Sports fans, listen up. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and bladder leaks can be a side effect. That's why Depend is teaming up with the Prostate Cancer Foundation to encourage screening, because health is a long game and it's yours to win. Now, here's the cool part. Through November, Depend is contributing up to $300,000 to prostate cancer research by donating 25 cents for every purchase of Depend shields, guards, and Real Fit products. Void in Mississippi? Learn more at Depend.com.
Get 5 quarts of Valvoline full synthetic motor oil, a Wix filter, and a $15 gift card after rebate at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Car wreck? Get the money you deserve. Mike's got this.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsement. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Give me one good reason why I should call DM Law. How about 3 great reasons? 1, it's easy. 2, it's fast. 3, the results.
Mike's got this. 816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Good afternoon. This one brought to you by DM Injury Law. We've got a stall, 71 northbound just before 75th. Right lane is blocked. Olathe, that's a multi-car crash. 35 southbound just before Santa Fe. The right lane is blocked. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center, I'm Val. 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Vinny Pasquantino. Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
All right, we're talking about Frank White. Someone texted in, text line 913-586-7965. CDOT, the man destroyed small businesses. Why are you standing up for the man? I'm not standing up for the man. I guess maybe in a way I am. I am just arguing that we are taking it too far now if we want to remove his statue from the stadium and unretire his number when, at least to my understanding, he hasn't been charged with a crime. It's not like we found some Donald Sterling audio recording. He was a bad politician. I don't think that should get your athletic accomplishments removed from anything. I also think it is a very, very important note. Frank White's stance last April was that the voters didn't have enough information to make an informed decision on the 3/8 of a cent sales tax. The people agreed with him. We all had the opportunity in Jackson County to go to the ballot and sign up for what you wanted to sign up for. The people pretty resoundingly agreed with Frank White on said subject. So if you're mad about the stadiums, I don't know how mad you can be about Frank. Now, I think there are things to be critical of. I don't think he offered up a lot of solutions. He comes off to me as one of the people that can keep telling you an idea is wrong, an idea is wrong. And then you're like, well, hey, what would you do, man? I don't know. Hold on. How can you sit here the whole time and tell me not to do what I was going to do, but you have no alternative? That's not good, in my opinion. But I now don't want, Frank White he played baseball from the Royals, Rob, from 1973 to 1990. He went to Lincoln High School. Like, he is one of us. I don't think that him being a bad politician now completely erases everything that he did as a baseball player. And that's what we're talking about. You are being celebrated for your contributions to the Kansas City Royals organization. So, and someone else made the argument of, people want their pound of flesh. Isn't that what recalling him is? It wasn't like a close recall. It's an embarrassing recall. Embarrassing. He got beat 85-15. To put it in a context, the stadium got beat 60-40. Like, it was overwhelmingly, we don't want you around anymore. We are casting you out. You've been voted off the island. To me, that feels like enough of a penalty to walk around with that you went from. Your fame and who you are as a person got you elected into this position that you probably weren't qualified for. And those same people said, no, you're one of the worst at it. We want you out of here. I think that's enough of a penalty for the man, Frank White. The text line, they're a little 50-50 on it, and we played the Spec Says earlier, and Spec thinks that his numbers shouldn't go. You also, Rob, are making the point for people that missed it. You don't think that if the Royals move to Kansas, you don't think that any of the Frank White things should go with them?
I think if the Royals move to Kansas, and I'm saying this as a Kansan, like, this is not like I'm Jackson County anti-Frank White. I think if the Royals, who have been adamant, there's one thing John Sherman has talked about other than wanting playoff baseball in Kansas City since he took over as owner, and that's wanting the team downtown. If the owner has wanted a downtown team since buying it and ends up on 119th and Knoll, I live about 119th and Knoll. No one would confuse that for downtown. If he does not get what he wants, I could see a scenario where they take the petty play and they unretire his number. I'm not saying they take him out of the Hall of Fame. I'm not saying they don't show highlights during the 85, celebrations. I'm just saying if the K ends up on 119th and Knoll, out in left field, right field, center field, wherever they put the retired numbers, you'll see 42, 5, 10, and 13. I don't think you will see 20 if the stadium is on 119th and Knoll, because I don't think the Royals want to be on 119th and Knoll. And if they end up there, it's probably because Frank White and all his doings behind the scenes.
So y'all should have Frank White Day at the K then over there, I would say. You guys got to clear off the streets. That's what you got to do. You got to clear off the streets for him. I guess we don't got to spend all day on this. I can't really understand the logic of voting somebody into political office because they are an athlete and then being shocked that they're not good at the politics. And now, like, hold on, wait, you were bad at it. So, like, wait, no. Him being a Royals second baseman is what got him elected. That's why you voted for him. He doesn't win if he's not Frank White. So I'm not surprised that he wasn't very good at the politics. In fact, that would actually line up to me on why he wasn't very, very good at the politics. We got Binkley coming up to the show in about 25 minutes or so. Rob, what do you think? We are 1 month into the college football season. What do you think is the biggest story so far in college football? I think it's Indiana's actually really, really good. I kind of laughed at Indiana last year. You know what I thought Indiana was last year? I thought they were 2007 Kansas. I thought they were right team, right year. Everything comes together. It was a magical, beautiful year, and that's just kind of the end of it. That's not the case. In fact, Indiana is one of the 10 best teams in college football. Again, they might have the best quarterback in college football. That is a team that I don't think they're going to win the Big Ten, but they are firmly once again in the conversation of being one of the playoff teams. I think the emergence of Indiana being, I don't want to say power. I don't think they're that, but again, one of the stronger teams in college football. I think that's been the biggest story so far in the first month of the season.
I'm happy you took a positive one because mine's not positive. I think the biggest story of the college football season is the death of Clemson. Like, I think Dabo and Clemson and what we may not even grew up with, but 5-10 years ago when Clemson was one of the dominant forces in college football ended this year. And I don't know if Dabo's going to have a job next year. Like, rewind the clock just 5 years to COVID times. if I'd said, hey, Carrington, one day Dabo's going to get run out of town, you'd have been like, what? He's in the national title game every year. He's the number one pick in the draft. Like, what are you talking about? Clemson is bad, and they're going to run him out of there. They have gone from one of those powers in the sport to a nothing in the ACC. Like, I think Dabo's fall from grace and Clemson going from that team to nothing is one of the bigger stories of the sport, because is Clemson ever going to bounce back? Like, is Clemson the same program? Like, can they go attract a Dan Lanning type? I don't think so. So, like, I think Clemson's death is one of the bigger stories of the season.
I actually think Clemson can attract that kind of player. I don't think Clemson is maybe as far off as you do. They just simply need to embrace the modern day college football the way that nobody else is. Like right now, Dabo is trying to win with one arm tied behind his back. If you're not interested in the transfer portal, you are not giving your university a chance to win. That's where you get players from. If you're a Missouri fan, your quarterback came from the transfer portal. Your running back came from the transfer portal. Your number one wide receiver came from the portal. Can you imagine not using the transfer portal? If you're Missouri, you're cooked. Clemson has 3 transfers on their team. So I hear what you're saying. Oh, like, what are they going to do after Dabo? Get somebody that at least wants to play by the rules in 2025. That gives you a chance to win in today's. So I don't think that it is bad for Clemson. They clearly can recruit great high school talent, but you got to be able to supplement that with guys that can fill in the gap. If you're only going to lose transfers and not bring transfers in, and you're only going to recruit high school players, you're just not giving yourself the absolute best chances to win when trying to build a college football program.
I also think the other biggest story is Arch. We spent a lot of time this summer. A lot of people spent a lot of time this summer. Future Congressman Paul Feinbaum said he's the best quarterback in college football he's seen since Tebow. You know what Arch Manning is right now? A guy who's flexing on UTEP. That's what Arch Manning is. That's his one claim to fame, is he scored and he had, what was it, aura? That's what the kids calling it, against UTEP. Arch is mediocre, and we talked about him, and a lot of media people talked about this summer, like, hey, should the Saints suck for Arch, or whatever be awful for Arch, whatever the alliteration was. And you know what? Arch is not special.
No one was saying awful for Arch. You just made that up on the fly. There was not a single person that was walking around with the awful for Arch shirt. Can we at least wait to see with Arch? They play Florida this weekend. Can we at least see? We've seen them play one real team. It was on the road against Ohio State. It was on the road against the best defense in the country. So I hear what you're saying about Arch. It's the best team, best defense. Can I see what they look like against Florida? The same way you and I were talking about Missouri season starts next Saturday, Florida, Texas season starts now. You got your preseason game. You did not look good in your preseason game, and now you go off and play real teams. I mean, I'm with you. He doesn't look, I will say this, he doesn't look like the number 1 overall pick coming up in April. But he can still be a good college quarterback. I'm not ready to do that with Arch so far with just one real start behind his belt. He was flexing against San Antonio in a way that Sam Houston State is. Didn't make any sense. Why are you doing this? Coming up on the other side, speaking of why are you doing this, Shador, brother, I'll explain. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Tune in Mondays at 4 to hear the play-by-play voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holtis, on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Right now, receive up to a $25 O'Reilly gift card after rebate with the purchase of select Superstart batteries at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This Prime Big Deal Days, October 7th and 8th, you can get a great deal on a new foot spa, transforming you into the queen of kicking it.
Wait, this has bubble jets. Okay.
Get up to 40% off with Prime Big Deal Days, October 7th and 8th.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Please gamble responsibly. Coming up Week 5 Pro Football Sunday, Indianapolis, a 7-point home favorite against Las Vegas. Total in the game is 48. And if you bet Las Vegas last week like I did against Chicago, you were probably pretty upset with Vegas' starting quarterback throwing 3 interceptions. Makes it difficult to bet on Las Vegas again, but that's what I want to do here. I think Indianapolis is way overvalued in this spot. I think Indy likely to win the game, but 7 is way too rich for me. So coming up this Sunday, Week 5 in Pro Football, I want to take +7 with Vegas in Indianapolis. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
DQ presents the sound of your next meal at DQ. It's the sound of savoring a signature stack burger, loving a chicken strip basket, or digging into everyday value with the $7 meal deal. Wait, where is the sound? Am I missing something? Oh, it's quiet because they're too busy enjoying their DQ food. Makes sense. So delicious and so peaceful. Grab your favorite from the DQ food menu today at participating U.S. locations. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Today we're constantly taking photos and videos to remember our favorite moments. But what about those captured before the smartphone? What about the memories tucked away on aging VHS tapes, film reels, or in fading photos?
These cherished memories are fading away with time, vulnerable to threats like heat, moisture, and mold. But fear not, there's a solution to safeguard your legacy. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. Together we founded Legacy Box over a decade ago with one mission: to bring your memories into the 21st century.
It's time to bid farewell to old tapes you can't watch and faded photos. Legacy Box transforms them into digital treasures, ready to share with a click.
Just like magic, your shoebox of memories is now safely stored in the cloud or on a thumb drive.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box, so you can rest assured your priceless moments are in good hands.
Don't let your childhood fade away on old tapes. It's time to digitize those priceless moments.
Fast forward into the digital age. Visit legacybox.com/value and unlock 50% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value.
It's go time.
Pacheco at the 5, angling near side, touchdown! Kansas City! Ball comes out, he's hit from behind, Jackson's hit from behind, and the Chiefs say they've got the football. Down the rails, to the end zone, touchdown! Kansas City, Tyquan Thornton.
Chiefs, Jaguars on Monday Night Football. With pregame starting at 4, kickoff at 7:15. Right here on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5, The Fan.
Touchdown! Chiefs coverage brought to you by Park & Go, the best deals on airport parking.
Don't fumble your airport parking. Score big with Park & Go. All covered parking, fast and free shuttles, and open 24/7. For the best deals in airport parking, reserve your spot now at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family owned and fan approved.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This one brought to you by Park & Go. Hey, we've got a multi-car crash in Olathe, and it's 35 southbound just before Santa Fe. The right lane is blocked. Traveling soon? Make it easy with Park & Go. Hassle-free online booking, free instant shuttles, luggage assistance, and all spots are covered. Reserve now at bookparkandgo.com. The best deal in airport parking. Park & Go, family-owned and operated.
This is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football.
Rob, during the commercial break, why it took me so long is Julia Roberts is in a new movie, and I was trying to see if she was in the Reba McEntire.
Ooh, is she?
57.
Wow. Good for her.
Because I was going to say that if that was your Reba McEntire, I certainly would understand with Julia Roberts, but she's not of age yet to be in that vintage piece category.
What's her movie coming out? We just got an email about it.
Yeah, coming out in a couple weeks. It's with the girl from The Bear. That's all I don't know anything else about the film.
You don't even watch The Bear. How do you know about that part of the film?
I mean, I know that the person is in it. I mean,
it's also got one of the Spider-Man.
I can't name a Tate McRae song. I know who she is.
It's that Andrew Garfield.
It's the girl, the EB girl.
I know she's also in it, but
there's two people from the. Oh, I didn't know. I just saw the one person I knew. I didn't know the other person.
Julia Roberts was a college professor at a personal and professional crossroads.
I'm sure it's a great movie. I don't need to know anything else. Julia Roberts plays a college professor. It seems like a film I'd be into. Coming up at the top of the hour, Binkley is going to join us in the studio. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about this because I really think that it's nonsense. So 2 weeks ago, or maybe it was a week ago, I don't remember, Shedeur Sanders said that he feels like he could be a starter in the National Football League. And then Rex Ryan got mad and told him to quit talking. So today, I mean, you guys know what happens. The media then goes back to Shedeur and asks him questions. And, I mean, today there was legitimate reasons to ask Shedeur questions. The Browns are making a quarterback change. Joe Flacco was their quarterback. You are going to be stunned. Make sure you're sitting down for this. Joe Flacco didn't work as a starter in 2025, and he got replaced. He got replaced for week 5, and now they're going to the rookie. I mean, who would have guessed that would have happened? So now the media goes to Shedeur and, hey, what do you think about this? He mimed his answers. I'm not joking. He mimed them. So he's like moving his mouth and his hands, but he's not talking to the media. It just looks weird. Now, I know what some of you are going to say. I mean, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I mean, you can't do. Just be a professional. Or, I know this is hard to believe. No, thanks. I don't want to answer questions today. You can do that. No, thanks. I'm all right. Anybody in my profession, that's happened before. Hey, would you like to come on the show today? No, I'm okay. That's fine. Okay. You're not required to come on the show. But Shedeur, this is what frustrates me a lot about Shedeur. If you don't like Shedeur, he gives you all the ammunition in the world to continue to not like him. I'm not saying you got to come off like the most lovable, likable person in the world, but you confirm what everybody feels about you when you act this way. It's just nonsense. Just say, no thanks. Or do what most athletes do. Answer the questions, but just don't say anything. Just don't say anything. But you make it a story when you act goofy. You guys got to see the video. It's one of the most ridiculous locker room videos I have ever seen. The media is asking him questions, and he's just moving his mouth but not talking. It's so dumb. Just say no thank you. You guys don't realize how when you go to the locker room, how many of these athletes just don't want to talk. And okay, all right, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, my goodness. It's just, why? Why do you do this? And then it's like, well, you guys are going to pick on him, anything he says. Well, that's life. That's everybody's job. That's everybody's profession. Some people are going to like what you do. Some people are not going to like what you do. But why does that now make you act like a jerk? I just don't like it. I want Shedeur to be better. I really do. I want Shedeur to be a better person. I want him to be. That's it. I want him to be better. Someone on the text line, C-Dot, they'll kill him for speaking. They'll kill him for not speaking. That's the life that you've signed up for. It's the life you've signed up for. I'm sorry. That's life. Half of you agree with what I say. Half of you don't agree with what I say. And you have no problem letting me know on the text line. That's the life that I've signed up for. So I hate that excuse. Oh, they're going to kill him either way. You decided to play quarterback in the NFL for a living. So yeah, you're not going to always be popular. There have been times you guys wanted Mahomes. You guys hated Mahomes. Mahomes was building families. Hey, you're too worried about this. You're off doing commercials. That's heavy as the head that wears the crown. When you're going to be a billionaire athlete, yeah, sometimes you got to answer these kind of questions. So yeah, if you want to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, you're not going to always be popular. And some weeks they're going to love you, and then some weeks they're not going to love you. That's life. 2 weeks ago, you guys want to fire Jawan Taylor. Now you think the Chiefs' offense is back. You want to fire Matt Nagy a week ago. Andy Reid's offense was archaic, and somebody else needs to call the plays. And now the Chiefs are going to go undefeated the rest of the way. That's life. That's life. You just got to accept it and move on. That's it. Just accept it and move on. That's it. See that? You love talking down to him. I want to see the young black man succeed. I'm on his side. I just think how he's acting is goofy. I think it's incredibly goofy that he's acting this way. And I think he brings it on himself. Just be a pro. That's it. Just be a pro.
I don't mean to run him down either. Aren't these things where he struggles to be a pro some of the reasons why he ended up in the 5th round?
100%.
Like, I know people like laughed at the time, like the fact that Dion decided to, when he scores a touchdown, they're going to play his rap song, or the whole team had to go to his rap concert, or he walks around the sideline and warm-ups at Colorado with that watch that costs more than I make in a year, probably 2 or 3 years. Like, and now you can't even do the non-answer quarterback answer. We talk to Patrick Mahomes every week. Do you know how many times he non-answers us? 90% of the time. But you know what? That's the job of the quarterback. And the fact that Shedeur can't do that, and he just ends up looking goofy and doing weird stuff, is why he's a 5th round pick. I mean, he was not a 5th round talent, but he's 5th round the other stuff.
I'm on Shedeur's side. I feel like some of these conversations with Shedeur, the reason he finds himself in this is just no one is willing to tell him the truth. You know what Shedeur would be doing right now? He'd be the starting quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens if he had just kept his head down. Just do the work. Just be a pro. Do the work. That's it.
If he had been a regular quarterback, he would have been drafted in the top 3 rounds. He'd be Dylan Gabriel right now. He'd be starting somewhere as a rookie.
Oh, for sure. Someone on the text line says, why are we still talking about a third-string quarterback? I think he'd be starting if he just had a better attitude sometimes. I think he maybe would have been picked in the 3rd round. The Browns made a quarterback change. They didn't pick him. They didn't pick him. Why is he still a third-string quarterback? Maybe he's still a third-string quarterback because of some of those things. All right, coming up on the other side, Jay Binkley's going to join us in studio. There's a lot of things to talk to Binkley about. We'll get to it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
We've got a stall downtown 670 westbound at Wyoming. The left lane is closed in a multi-car crash. Olathe 35 southbound. It's before Santa Fe in the right lane. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center, I'm Val, 96.5 The Fan.
Well, summer is winding down, and maybe you notice something. You're a little more tired than usual. Your workouts, they're just not giving you that same result. You're not sleeping well. You're foggy. Your sex drive basically gone at this point. Well, here's the truth. It might not just be stress or getting older. It could be low testosterone. And if it is, there's a positive. Heartland Men's Health can help you. They have helped hundreds of men right here in the Kansas City area feel like themselves again with increased energy, better thinking, better sleep, stronger workouts, and your sex drive, it's back. Getting tested is fast and easy. Take the 2-minute low T quiz at heartlandmenshealth.com and schedule a $99 consult, which includes lab work, a full medical review, and a plan that works for you. And you start treatment that day. And if it doesn't work, then your visit is on the house. Don't wait another year. Don't wait another month. Don't wait another day. Let's get back to you feeling like you. Pick up the phone and call this number, 844-447-6600, or check out the website, heartlandmenshealth.com today. Heartland Men's Health, real results, real men, real fast.
Thank you for making Total Wine & More America's #1 online source for spirits, beer, and wine. Better than all those delivery apps. Total Wine's prices are up to 30% lower with super fast delivery and no hidden fees. Order direct at TotalWine.com and pay less today.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Sports fans, listen up. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and bladder leaks can be a side effect. That's why Depend is teaming up with the Prostate Cancer Foundation to encourage screening. Because health is a long game, and it's yours to win. Now, here's the cool part. Through November, Depend is contributing up to $300,000 to prostate cancer research by donating 25 cents for every purchase of Depend shields, guards, and Real Fit products. Void in Mississippi? Learn more at Depend.com.
Get 5 quarts of Valvoline full synthetic motor oil, a Wix filter, and a $15 gift card after rebate at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CODE to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Football season is in full swing, and Underdog is the best place to get in on the action. You can select entries and win money right now in Missouri. Yeah, right now in Missouri. Playing an Underdog is pretty easy. Just choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower than stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and more. You get those entries right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. So, between that and ladders, streaks, pick'ems, and champions, you get all of your choices over at Underdog. Like I said, it's so easy to download the app and choose between those options. So download the app today and join me by signing up using promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to score $100 in bonus funds or entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets at underdogfantasy.com/web/playing-get-terms_DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
You've got a ton of equity in your home. You're sitting on a gold mine. You could do so much with all that cash, like travel, invest it, or pay off debt. But you can't touch it unless you sell your home. But you really don't want to move. And besides, homes are sitting on the market a long time these days. You're trapped, right? Not with TrueHold. With TrueHold, you can cash out your equity in as little as 30 days. But listen, you don't have to move. You can stay in the home you love as a renter. That's TrueHold's Sell and Stay program. Cash out your entire home's value and stay put. TrueHold even covers property taxes, property insurance, and essential repairs. Imagine using that equity to travel, invest, or pay off debt. And you can stay in your home. It's brilliant, especially in this slow market. Get your all-cash offer now. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
Hey, it's Xavier Worthy. The Chiefs Radio Network pregame show starts 3 hours before kickoff, right here on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
This just came out from Dan Wetzel of ESPN. The Big Ten is in discussions about a private capital deal that would infuse $2 billion within the conference and to its schools. Discussions include a 10-year extension of the league's grant of rights until 2046. It also sounds like, if I'm doing a quick reading of this, it sounds like there would be kind of a tier system within the Big Ten, that some of the bigger schools, the better schools, would get a little bit more money than some of the other schools. I'm sure they're all going to agree to do that. I mean, if we're going to split this money evenly, of course Rutgers is going to sign up to let Ohio State and Michigan get more of the pie than they're going to get. That's certainly going to help close the competitive balance within the conference. We got Jay Binkley joining us in studio. Bink, there's so much to talk to you about, man. How have you been?
Been good, C-Dot. Been good. Just enjoying, day off here for football. We have football starting tomorrow. The baseball's got us through the last couple days.
All right, so let's just start with this. I'm really curious to get your thought process on this. If there is a pie chart right now of the Chiefs' performances from Sunday.
What kind of pie?
How much of that cherry pie?
Okay.
Pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie.
How much of it do you think is the Chiefs and them turning the corner offensively? How much of that do you think is the Ravens and the amount of injuries that they have right now on the defense? We did this topic a couple of days ago. I've got it at 55 to 60% Kansas City. I do think you have to give them credit for infusing Brashard Smith and using the running backs in the passing game the way that they did, the return of Xavier Worthy. But it's impossible to note that at the end of the game, the Ravens were missing 7 starters on defense. Not a lot of teams are getting stops in that scenario. And for the Chiefs to have struggled at times the way that they did offensively, to look unstoppable, some of that has to be the team that you were playing.
Yeah, I think so. But I'd say put it about 60-40, something real close to where you're at there. But I look at what they did offensively. They did some really creative things. Every time you look up, you're like, wait a minute, they got 6 offensive linemen in there. They were, I know sometimes the national spot, I think Orlovsky was talking about that too, but there was 6 offensive linemen. So like, all right, we'll just throw an extra lineman out there, get him more protection for Pat and see what happens. And that confidence builds. But I just think the chemistry's growing too. Like with Tyquan and Patrick, I think that stuff is certainly evolving. It started last year when Tyquan was on the practice squad, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. Reed mentioned it during mini camps about the chemistry between Patrick and Tyquan Thornton. And then Xavier Worthy, I thought I expected a lot better year, even as good as Worthy was last year, that second year in the NFL. And he puts on some more muscle, puts on some weight. This guy's a very talented wide receiver. I was excited to see him this year. So he went out and played 3. I'm like, no, let's see what Worthy has to offer. Because I'll tell you this guy stepped up without Rice and Brown. Here was a rookie who was going to come in here, just, kind of ingratiate himself into the system and have these other big-time receivers. And all of a sudden, he was forced to be the dude. And I thought he did well, so I was excited about year 2, and we kind of saw that the potential, what he started showing the second half of the season on. But I just think they're being more creative. I think this game, the Giants game, and this game, they became more and more creative in what they do. But, yeah, I think those injuries the Ravens, that's some of the biggest myths in sports, Ravens defense. I mean, you think about these myths that happen in sports, and people, the myth of the Chiefs dynasty falling, it's crumbling apart. That's a myth. The Ravens' big, bad, bully defense, that's a myth. Sorry, Baltimore, it is. You came in with the 32 defense. You left with the number 32 defense. You had the 31st pass defense. Guess what? Small sample size. Last year, number 31 against the pass. So they showed these signs last year by finishing right behind or right above Jacksonville as far as teams against the pass. So they haven't improved that. They tried to bring in Jared Alexander. He's been banged up, hasn't worked for him. But I think that is a big myth with the Baltimore Ravens. Vegas wasn't buying it because they still put them at the favorites.
Yeah, which didn't really make any sense. That was a point that Rob and I kind of made throughout the course of the week. It didn't really make any sense to me how Baltimore was a bigger favorite than Philadelphia was coming into Kansas City. It felt like to me that Vegas was very slow to react to what we were seeing in real time with the Ravens, where with other teams, I think they're very quick to notice it, kind of like with Minnesota. Minnesota goes out there, smashes Cincinnati, and now, hold on, we got to pay attention to the Vikings.
Well, sometimes they capitalize on the myth. Sometimes they capitalize the big, bad Baltimore Ravens, Super Bowl favorite, this guy, mean, tough defense. It's just simply not true, but people buy into that, and they'll bet the Ravens.
I do think, though, back to your point about Xavier Worthy, I do think that this was the perfect appetizer to what you think the meal is going to be in a couple of weeks. I mean, they didn't have anybody in their offense like Xavier Worthy. Tyquan Thornton has gotten off to a great start. He can't do all of that. He can't help you in the run game and be some of the down the field, that route that he run where he completely gets open. You just don't have anybody else on your team that can do it. The point I mean about an appetizer is their offense is about to be complete here coming up in 14 days. You're going to have your number 1 wide receiver back. Knock on wood, all your wide receivers will be healthy. In fact, you found a wide receiver that you weren't counting on with Tyquan Thornton. I think it was a glimpse into, I don't think people expect that to be the Chiefs offense on a week in, week out basis, but you could just feel the creativity. You could feel the diversity in the offense, and you could also see at its best, at its core, those big plays, those excitement, the players that can generate those are right around the corner.
No, I agree with it. And I think Tyquan Thornton's gotten to that point where he's now part of this offense. You score 3 touchdowns in 3 straight weeks in the NFL. That means you've got the quarterback's confidence because you don't get in the end zone unless you do. But 3 straight weeks of that, he's proven himself to be part of this offense. And here's the thing with Tyquan. When Rice comes back and Worthy's there and everything, Tyquan's going to be sprinkled in there as well. And the only thing this helps is Travis Kelce as well. The sideline blow-ups or whatever. You don't have as many of those because the double teams aren't there. Being shadow's not there. When teams are now, they're going to have to think about Tyquan Thornton. I always bring it back to baseball. Like these pitchers that come in here and they'll give up a home run to a guy that's been called up from AAA and he hits home run. They haven't made any adjustments. They've done no film study. They don't have any book really on that player. I remember talking to Justin Verlander after a game one time at the Royals. He said, well, we didn't watch much AAA film on him or wherever. It's to him a fastball. I know not to do that anymore. So it's kind of with Tyquan Thornton. Like he's out there doing his deal. Like he's now a guy they have to worry about. Like he's now somebody they have to think about. The Chiefs now put him in that realm where it gives him something else to think about the Chiefs' offense. He wasn't like that before, but you score touchdowns in 3 straight games, he becomes one of those guys you have to concentrate on. So when Rice comes back and then you sprinkle in some Tyquan Thornton here and there, that just adds to the Chiefs' weapons.
I think you can move Tyquan Thornton. We call him the Brett Veach special. He's done this a couple of times. Emmanuel Ogbah was one of these players. Damian Lee was kind of one of these players. A guy who was a failed first or second round pick that Kansas City is able to pick up for pennies on the dollars and use them. He might be moving toward the top of the list. Like right now, he is on pace to have 700 yards receiving and double-digit touchdowns. I don't think he finishes with that. But if you were telling me for basically nothing, you found a 600-yard receiver, and let's say he finishes with 6 touchdowns this year, that is one of the best finds that Veach has had in his career.
No question, with 4.28 speed as well. I mean, it's elite speed, second-round pick for a reason. But the one thing Veach is doing is you got to remember, like, sometimes where the player was. Why didn't he succeed? Belichick, left New England. Tyquan Thornton didn't advance in New England. Juju Smith-Schuster didn't do well in New England. They did a bad job with their wide receivers, and the Chiefs were like, it's a bad system there. You know how all coaches think they can fix players. Like Royals have done that for years. They bring them in here, they think they can fix them. Some guys can be fixed, some guys can't. Tyquan was one that they could. Pair him with the right quarterback, the right coaching staff, and things to do. This coaching staff here and quarterback's far better than what New England had when Tom Brady left. Far better. And Belichick and Brady, that combination, when they left, they're like, all right, we'll give him a chance because, Brady and Belichick are gone. We'll see what's going on.
We've talked a lot about the run game on this show. What are you seeing from their run game? I want to see more Brashard Smith, maybe a little less of Isaiah Pacheco. The text line is kind of pointing to yards per carry, yards per attempt. Pacheco has been fine. I don't think there's much more than that. Like, I haven't really felt in the first month of the season that Pacheco was close to breaking one of these. I think he's going to get you maybe 4, maybe 5 yards. I don't know if there's much else. I'm thinking of ceiling. I'm thinking of upside. I think Brashard Smith at least presents a possibility of that. I want to see him get more opportunities in these next 4 games.
100% agree with you. I think Brashard Smith's just a better player, a better all-around player. I've been surprised with how tough he is. The resiliency, the spin moves, still standing up on his feet. Like Brashard Smith's shown a lot of toughness for a guy that was a wide receiver at the University of Miami before really low body carriage at SMU, just a running back for 1 year. But he's got better hands than Pacheco. He runs better routes than Pacheco. Again, he was a wide receiver at the U. So he knows that. He knows the running back skill. But he's a better receiver than Pacheco. I think he's quicker than Pacheco at this point, even though Pacheco ran a 4.37 at the combine. But, things are different since then. I think Brashard Smith runs with more authority. He brings a little bit of juice. I know we didn't see a whole lot of it there, but what we did in short spurts is that juice that he has, that he provides this offense, that little lift, little boost. So it's not status quo. You're doing the same things over and over and over. You just get that extra boost of sharp. But I'd like to see him a lot more. And I think we're going to start seeing the snap counts keep increasing.
Yeah, I do kind of feel that way. I always feel like with young players on the offense for the Chiefs, there's usually that game. If you remember Tyreek early on in his career, there was that game against the Broncos, and that was kind of the line of demarcation. He started to be way more involved in the offense after that point. I feel like that could possibly be what we just saw against the Ravens. They're just moving forward. Maybe you start with 6 to 8 plays. That evolves into 8 to 12 plays, and we'll see what happens once it starts to get colder, where at some point you're just going to have to run the football effectively. And even in this game in which the offense operated at such a high clip, they got 23 carries for 78 yards from the running backs. Like, once you start playing the better teams, the better defenses, the weather starts to get cold, you're going to have some ability to run the football.
And this is a true test against Jacksonville. They're 4th in the National Football League at stopping the run. They've been they're very good at running the football too. So they're good at running and they're good at stopping the run. So this is something to watch with the Jacksonville game. But, Brashard brings a little bit of something because Patrick Mahomes hasn't had a lot of weapons drafted to him. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. They've had 31 picks in the last 4 years. 22% of those have been skill positions. That includes Worthy, 1 first-round pick to Patrick Mahomes, 1 in the last 4 years. 2 second-rounders and Sky Moore, that's with Frisco now, and Rashee Rice. And then a couple fourth-rounders in Jalen Royals, who hasn't done anything for him, and Jared Wiley, a fourth-rounder who hasn't done anything for him, and 2 seventh-round running backs, Pacheco and Brashard Smith. That's it, man. That's all Mahomes has gotten in 4 years. Give the man some juice, and Tyquan, bring in a little bit of that. So and Brashard, too. So he hasn't got a lot of help through the draft last 4 years, as far as skill positions only. I'm not talking about the offensive line, just skill position.
The Chiefs are 2-2 right now. They have 4 games between now and Buffalo. What do you think their record's going to be when they head into Orchard Park? I got them at 5-3. I think they lose either Monday night or to the Lions. One of those two.
I was teetering on 4-4 and 5-3, but I'm going to go 5-3. I was thinking about that when you brought it up earlier. Like, yeah, I'm thinking one more loss, 5-3.
Yeah, I would say there's a handful of teams. We can talk about this.
I think Buffalo's undefeated, by the way.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think Buffalo's the best team in the NFL right now.
I think easy. Yeah, I mean, it's cakewalk, but forget about that. I mean, I think they'll be undefeated when they play the Chiefs.
Yeah, I understand why people would put Philadelphia number 1 on their power rankings. They won the Super Bowl. I get all of that. Like, I think Buffalo is playing better than any team in the National Football League.
I would still take Buffalo on a neutral field Philadelphia over Buffalo.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Why is that?
They just win. They just find a way to win. That's what they keep doing.
Hard to argue that.
Forget about the passing yards, the running yards. Reminds me a lot of the Kansas City Chiefs as far as the way they just keep going. But they just know how to win that tush push. Love it or hate it. Can't stop it. So, advantage Philadelphia.
It's watching Philadelphia right now. They're one of the few teams in the league. Like, I can't explain what's happening with them. They didn't throw a single passing yard in the second half of the game against a good team, like not a bad team, against a team that I think is going to win their division, against a team that I think is going to make the postseason, against a team that can make noise.
4 straight division titles.
Yeah, and they just found a way to win this. Like, I know people use a comparison last year to Kansas City. I think this Eagles team, it feels like it's more smoke and mirrors even than the Chiefs felt last year.
Well, think about this. Last year, early in the season, the Buccaneers hammered the Eagles. On the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl, the Buccaneers absolutely hammered them. It was like 31-16, something like that. Last year when the Eagles played the Bucs. This year's a different story.
Right now, we're joined in studio by our guy, Jay Binkley. Coming up on the other side, we talked about the offensive side of things. Let's talk about the defensive side of things. I also want to play a little contender and pretender, Binkley. We'll do a little college football as well. A lot of things to get to. Happy that Binkley is joining us in studio for the 4 o'clock hour. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5. The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
BetMGM is inviting you to charge the field this pro football season. Existing BetMGM customers can have a ball without having to sweat. Log into your account to get a pro football no sweat token. Apply the token to your next pro football bet. If you lose with the token attached, you'll get your stake back in bonus bets. That's right. With a no sweat token, you get your stake back in bonus bets if you don't win. There's nothing like a fresh set of downs. And that's just what BetMGM is offering if you don't win with a no-sweat token. Find your favorite matchup and be part of the action. Make this pro football season one for the ages. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
He's a world arm wrestling champion, Michael Todd.
I'm globally known as Monster Michael Todd. I'm 52 years old. I've won 23 world titles and 36 national titles.
This tough guy never backs down, but a horrible bicep injury almost ended his career. Enter QC Kinetics and life-changing regenerative treatments.
Most people thinking that I'd never be able to compete again. Within 8 months, I became number 5 overall in the world. Now I'm marching towards that number 1 spot.
So how did he do it?
I'm a big regenerative medicine kind of guy. Once I found out about QC Kinetics, I wanted to try their protocol.
Those treatments use a patient's own orthobiologics concentrated and placed into the troubled area to help heal and restore the damage. No scalpels or harmful meds, just long-term relief.
QC Kinetics definitely have helped me be able to live this dream and be able to do what I want to do and continue to do it for a lot more years.
When the others say, time for surgery, you're finished. Not so fast. Call QC Kinetics. The consultation's totally free.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Thank you for making Total Wine & More America's #1 online source for spirits, beer, and wine. Better than all those delivery apps. Total Wine's prices are up to 30% lower with super fast delivery and no hidden fees. Order direct at TotalWine.com and pay less today.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Chumba Casino brings non-stop fun straight to your screen. Anytime, anywhere. Explore hundreds of games like slots, blackjack, and instant scratch-style cards. Sign up to unlock your free welcome bonus and daily login bonuses. And enjoy your chance at exciting prizes without spending a thing. Just click, play, and enjoy the ride. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This one brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. You've got 435 eastbound at Metcalf. That is a 4-car crash down south. Blue Springs, that's 470 southbound just before Lakewood Boulevard. Be prepared to tap your brakes. A 2-car crash there. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center on Val 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Hey, it's Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome back into the show. Binkley's in studio for the 4 o'clock hour. Bink, let's start with the Chiefs defense. There might not be a unit in the league that has transformed more from game 1 to game 4 than the Chiefs defense. Their defense looked bad against the Chargers. They couldn't get pressure, couldn't cover on the back end. They didn't do a whole lot of things right, I think, in that Chargers game. Fast forward, they shut down the Eagles' offense for the most part. I think performed pretty well against them. The Giants were just unable to really get anything going offensively, and they forced multiple turnovers against Lamar Jackson. And I don't know if he's going to play or not play, but I still feel like Lamar quit on Sunday. I feel like they made him tap out, and I felt like they made him give in the game. What do you make of this defenses and all the adjustments that we've seen them make over the last 4 weeks of football?
Well, they spent a majority of their draft picks on defense, and we've seen fruits of that labor. 4th in points against last year, 2nd points against 2 years ago. They sit 8th in points again right now, and they're getting better. I think the offense getting better does help the defense. I think the defense, understands it, but having the ball 10 minutes more than the Ravens, that helps. As far as the offense getting confidence, keeping the football, getting the time of possession, that helps keep the defense fresh. They're not out there all the time. So I think the defense is a byproduct sometimes of the offense improving. Your defense should be getting better because they get less time on the field. But, yeah, the secondary and what they're doing and the pieces they add. I mean, the drafting of Noel Williams and how good he's been for the secondary. And I think the best is yet to come with this guy. I really like that draft pick they made out of Cal. But, in the defensive line, there's some worries on that early, but the constant, switching guys in and out, the refreshing. It's why they drafted Omar Norman Lott. He's a substitution guy. He never started at Tennessee last year. He was second-round pick in the NFL because he was used in the six-man rotation. Tennessee just keeps rotating defensive linemen in. But I think it's been a better complement now between the secondary and the pass rush. Chiefs up to 14th in the NFL with 10 sacks, so they're getting to the quarterback, but they're manufacturing. And Steve Spagnuolo, I mean, credit him. He's finding a way to do it with secondary blitzes, giving him something to look at, going in like he's going to be in man, and he's going to be in – then all of a sudden he's cover zero and everybody's blitzing. He looks like he's got a different defensive formation. He's giving teams a look and then switching into something completely different. He's just been creative. I mean, Steve Spagnuolo the last couple of years and what he's done defensively and how creative he's been with what he's doing. There's no rhyme or reason why the Chiefs weren't as good as they were, winning 15 games going to the Super Bowl. It's because of him thinking about how to attack other teams and take out their best weapon. That's one thing he does. What's your best weapon? He takes him out. Malik Neighbors, when they play Giants, take him out. First game against the Ravens last year. All right, Derrick Henry, man, we got to slow this dude down. Lamar Jackson still went off for 122 yards rushing, but they slowed Derrick Henry down. They didn't allow a single running back to have over 100 yards rushing against them last year.
I think it's been 30 games, actually.
Yeah,
that's
it
ended
has.
up being the case.
Lamar Jackson's been the only guy doing it from the quarterback position when he got 122. But they've been so creative in unison of, using that pass rush. George Karlaftis has been fantastic with the pressures he's created. He's proven his worth, well worth the money that he was spent on. I think grades, if you look at them or not, he's fifth best as far as edge in the National Football League this year. But you get that outside pressure, and then you get some push from the interior, which they certainly worked on with drafting Omar Norman Lott with this team. Gelati didn't see him with the illness last week, but he creates that unwavering motor that keeps going and getting to the quarterback. He's a tough guy to defend, but the linebacker play, they're getting a solid. Nick Bolton's been absolutely everywhere with this team, but the creativity of Steve Spagnuolo. But don't lose sight on the fact with the offense getting better and better, it takes less and less pressure off that defense where they can just form and be themselves because the offense is going to get their job done. If they have confidence in that offense, putting points on the board, it lessens kind of the pressure on them to keep the other opposing offense under a certain amount of points because they don't need to feel they have to carry the team the whole way like they have certain times with this team.
We did this segment yesterday. We did for better or for worse. So it was two things that we think is much better than we had anticipated, two things that we thought are just worse than we had anticipated. At least for me on the better side, Tyquan Thornton was one of those things. I made the analogy to just found money. He was not a player that I was expecting a whole lot of in April with the Kansas City Chiefs. He has been their best receiver so far through the first 4 weeks of the season. Noel Williams, you just mentioned him. Noel Williams right now is the number one ranked cornerback right now on Pro Football Focus. Very limited sample size.
Best defensive rookie, actually.
Yeah, very limited sample size. He hasn't played 50 snaps yet, but just having that kind of impact and expecting more and expecting growth from that. So those are two things that have exceeded my expectations. I'll ask you that question. What are a couple of things that, as we have watched a month of Chiefs football, it's better than you anticipated?
Well, Tyquan definitely. The way he kind of came into the system and grasped things right away. The fact he's got 3 touchdowns in 3 straight weeks, that shows that trust. He'd get in the end zone, but 3 straight weeks, come on. And being that deep threat to Patrick Mahomes, even if he doesn't catch it, he goes right back to him like he did in the Giants game. So definitely Tyquan on offense. Defensively, you got to credit Noel Williams what he's done, but like you said, the limited snap count. But I just think Karlaftis and some of the things that he's been doing, he got that payday. Sometimes you don't only see that from the guy that gets the payday, right? You don't see that. And but he's been giving that to the Chiefs each and every time. He's good, but he's been playing exceptionally.
I don't think the Ravens are making the postseason. Do you think they're making it?
Not now. I did going into that game, but just seeing how bad that defense is, the injuries mounting up for that team. And Lamar Jackson, you don't know if he's going to play this week or not. He said he wants to try to play this week, but you don't know if they're going to hold him back or not. But no. And I look at that division. I think one team gets in the postseason from that division. I think it's going to be Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's kind of where I think, too. I think a lot of people are expecting the Steelers to fade, and they very easily could fade. Right now, I'm looking at this Ravens team.
They always do, but they might get enough wins.
100%. The Ravens don't run the ball as effectively as I think people expect them to run the ball. Their quarterback is injured, and there's just a big cloud of uncertainty on whether or not he's going to be able to play. And right now, you can't get stops, and I don't know if you have the personnel to get stops and to turn this thing around. Every year, there's a team that we think can compete for a Super Bowl that wins 7 to 9 games and narrowly misses the postseason. It just feels like that's the Ravens this year.
No, it does. You look at the division, the Bengals are just terrible. I didn't expect them to be this bad, but they're just atrocious right now. The Browns, they'll produce with the defense. Now they're playing this quarterback shuffling. 41 starting quarterbacks this team's had since 2000, by far and away the leaders on that. And then you got Pittsburgh being solid. So where the Ravens fit in, and you look at Ravens' schedule, yeah, there's some winnable games coming up for the Ravens. Like the Chiefs, they've had a tough schedule at the beginning. But the defense is so bad, and it shouldn't be a mystery. They were 31st against the pass last year, 32 this year. They've gone from bad to worse as far as that's concerned. They brought in Malachi Starks from the draft, trying to boost that secondary or whatever. They brought in Jair Alexander because he played with Lamar at Louisville, trying to bring some action, but he's been banged up and hasn't played the last couple of weeks. But I'm with you on Baltimore. They don't do anything really exceptionally well on defense. Now, they're lighting the scoreboard up. They were lighting the scoreboard up to the Chiefs. I mean, let's give them credit. They do score a lot of points. The Chiefs limited that. The Chiefs bullied them. Like you said, the other way around, you've seen previous games, the Chiefs bullied the Ravens. No other way to put it. They smacked them in the mouth. They punched them. The Chiefs were the more physical team. I do know the Ravens can score, but it hinges on Lamar. It hinges on the fact if Lamar plays or not. We know Patrick Mahomes is his, quote, kryptonite, as said by, Lamar Jackson, who's 6-1 against them. For some reason, they do play everybody else well.
Right now, we're joined in studio by our guy, Jay Binkley. Coming up in a little bit, I want to get your big opinions on some other teams. Let's talk about the local college football teams. Let's start with Missouri. I feel like Missouri has done exactly what they're supposed to do so far in their first 5 games. Their season starts next Saturday against Alabama. Eli Drinkwitz does not have a win like this in his career. If they beat Alabama at home, you go 2-2 in those remaining 4 big games. I think Missouri's a college football playoff team.
I agree with you. He's stacking these double-digit winning seasons. And at this point, I get it. It's early. They played the one conference game to this point, but it is the only FBS team. There's 136 of them now. The only team out of that 136 that's top 5 in offense and defense. It's number 1 defense in the nation. Number 1 in total defense is Missouri. Ahmad Hardy, the number 1 running back in the country. Number 1 running back in the SEC. He's got 730 yards. Quan Lacey, former Missouri Tiger, the transferred to Ole Miss, is number 2. With 450. Number 8 in the conference, Jamal Roberts. That 1-2 punch. I think Missouri's got that 1-2 punch. Norfleet at tight end gives them that extension. And I think Kevin Coleman coming in from Mississippi State, the local kid, he's from St. Louis, actually comes back to Missouri. He's provided a lot of that juice, a lot of that spark they needed at the wide receiver position. But you look top to bottom, it's hard to make an argument there's been a better team in the country that hit the transfer portal than Missouri. Because you're talking about Ahmad Hardy, led the Sun Belt in rushing last year. Kevin Coleman comes over after a great year at Mississippi State. Transfer portal. Bo Prabila comes over, Penn State transfer. Trotter on defense comes over, transfer portal. They hit that transfer portal. They're using it like it should be used, and they're doing it to extremes. But, yeah, so this week off for Missouri. Game day is going to Tuscaloosa for Vandy in Alabama. I think they jumped the gun on that just a little bit because if Bama wins and they cruise to Missouri next week, it's an 11 o'clock national TV game on ABC, Missouri versus Alabama. That would have been a great game for college game day.
I think it was going to be hard to get it next week with Texas, Oklahoma. It was going to be hard to get it with that game, especially because
it's a good slate next week.
Especially with
this week's not so good. Next week's great.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. Let's talk about K-State really quickly here, and we'll get your opinion on some of the big teams in the NFL and college football. This is a massive swing game for K-State if you win this game on the road against Baylor. If you win this game on the road against Baylor, all of your dreams and goals are still right there if you're K-State. If you lose this game, who knows what happens with the Kansas State Wildcats?
The problem is Sawyer Robertson's doing such a good job at quarterback. They're facing a really good quarterback for Baylor that throws the ball all around the yard. It's a tough team. Kansas State, to me, they should have gone into the game last week 0-4, right? I mean, that one win was North Dakota. In the last minute, Joe Jackson scores a touchdown for them. Not North Dakota State, but North Dakota. Much different. They were a 5-7 FCS team last year. North Dakota State's actually a very good FCS team that won the national title. But Avery Johnson played like Avery Johnson should. He gave you the yards on the ground. It wasn't like that minus 16 he had against Arizona. When he first came to K-State and he got the football, he was so lightning quick. He was literally one of those guys that could go 80 yards. I mean, this guy was unbelievable when he touched the football. It was like Bubba Starling at Gardner Hedgerton. You give him the ball 80 yards, he'd be gone for a touchdown, like back in those high school days, if you remember that. But but Avery was doing well, but he put both things together, the passing game and the run game. And the most impressive thing is that Jace Brown really didn't get any targets. He was basically already injured, had his helmet there and wasn't on the field, but he's their best weapon offensively. And Dylan Edwards kind of showcasing why They brought him in. They went to Colorado. They lost, local Kansas kid that went to Colorado, comes back, transfer portal to the Kansas State Wildcats. But he actually got that chance to play. He was hurt in that game in Dublin against Iowa State, but finally got to see some Dylan Edwards. But much better game confidence-wise. They were flying to the football. They were playing much different than 1 and 3 teams play. Usually at that point, they kind of throw in the towel or whatever. They didn't do that. They played with a lot of energy. It was good to see.
Rob, I'm gonna need a little bit of music here in a little bit. Before we get to that, I want to remind you guys that our Circle of Trust is brought to you by Brew Brothers at Harris, Kansas City. Now open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They got mouth-watering appetizers, juicy burgers, steaks, pasta, and more. And wash it all down with the ice-cold beverage and catch the game. The Circle of Trust is also brought to you by Aspen Lawn Care and Pest Control, where you can expect the best. Binkley, you already know that you are in our Circle of Trust.
With the knowledge you've been given, you are now on the inside of what I like to call the Burns family circle of trust. See, if I can't trust you, Greg, then I have no choice but to put you right back outside the circle. And once you're out, you're out. There's no coming back.
Well, I would definitely like to stay inside the circle.
All right, Rob, hit me with a little bit of music. We are going to go through some college teams and some NFL teams to see if they are worthy of being inside your circle of trust.
You skipped right over the Jayhawks, didn't you? That's fine.
They're a 6
Rob's back here going, what the hell, man?
They're a 6-6 football team.
Hey, Emmanuel Henderson is a stud, though, that wide receiver from Alabama.
100% with you. LSU. Are you putting LSU in or outside of your circle of trust, Jay Binkley?
They were firmly in it, man.
They were?
They were firmly in it against the D2 quarterback that's now, 5th or 6th in the Heisman, Trinidad Chambliss. I thought they'd win that game.
They can't score.
No, they can't, and so they have to go outside the circle of trust. I trusted them financially this past weekend. Didn't go so well. Yeah, out.
Georgia Tech. Are they inside your circle of trust? They are 5-0 right now, ranked 17th. Certainly still a contender in the ACC.
Yeah, for the ACC purposes, they are. Haynes King's a great quarterback, man. This guy is just one of those guys, those ultimate winners. Throwing the football, running the football, is an extremely good runner. But Georgia Tech just finds a way to win. They're in the circle of trust because of that close games. And no one can forget that great game against Georgia last year. Remember that last game of the year went to 8 overtimes? The game was in Athens, Georgia. But yeah, I like Haynes King a lot at quarterback. You have a good quarterback, you can do a lot of good things. Haynes King's a great quarterback.
Georgia, who lost their first game of the season, they are 3-1. This team maybe isn't as complete as some Georgia teams we've seen in years past. They don't get after the quarterback. They're not great against the run so far this year, and they don't run the ball super effectively. The Georgia Bulldogs, are they inside your circle of trust?
They're on the outside at this point because of what Alabama did. They were firmly in there. I like them to the Chiefs. Remember, they went back-to-back. They always find a way to hang around. Then at the very end, they beat you. As Tennessee. Tennessee should have hammered Georgia, but they kept hanging around. And guess what? At the end of the day, Tennessee goes home with an L. But Alabama going in to Georgia and beating them like that, they have to go outside that circle of trust. SEC team has got some dogs in this conference, and Georgia's not one of them, even though they are the Bulldogs.
Last college football team, Texas A&M. They are ranked 6th right now. They are 4-0. Texas A&M, are they inside your circle of trust?
They're in the circle of trust. Marcel Reed is a fantastic quarterback. If you hadn't got a chance to watch him play, there's Texas A&M quarterbacks sprinkled all around the FBS, and you'll see another one this weekend with Connor Weigman at Houston, undefeated Houston. But Marcel Reed is the truth at quarterback for A&M, and finally they have a good coach that I think can get the job done. And so I think Texas A&M is in that circle of trust.
Let's switch to the National Football League. The Los Angeles Chargers at 3-1. The point that I've made is every version of the Chargers for the last 15 years loses to that Giants team. You could see it. Things were going so well for the Chargers. They had won every game so far in their division. They're being talked about like a top 5 team. Of course you go on the road and lose to a team that's going to have a top 5 pick.
Not as a big believer in the Chargers. And of course, those tackle issues they had. They lose Rashawn Slater at the beginning of the year. He has that patellar knee injury like Josh Simmons had coming out of college. It took Josh, a year to regroup from that. And then Joe Alt gets banged up. It's a banged-up team, but I didn't like what they did in the draft. Even though Amarian Hampton has proven he's going to be maybe a contender for Offensive Rookie of the Year, unless Buka wins it. But the bottom line is the Raiders and Chargers go running back in round 1. The Broncos go defense and Jahdae Barron the cornerback, which I think is a better way to stop the team that's won 9 straight division titles. So as good as Hampton is and Ashton Genty, I didn't like what they did. I think the Chargers find a way to come back to the pack. They need to start using Ladd McConkey a lot more. Keenan Allen was a nice addition back to the Chargers. Quinn Johnson is forgot about the drops to this point.
He's been great so far this season.
We'll see if they come back. But
I know they don't give out most improved player in the NFL the way they do in the NBA. Quentin Johnson will be near the top of the list.
No, he definitely should win it this year because Joe Burrow will win it next year again for the third time in a row. So he better win it this year.
He's been great so far. The Pittsburgh Steelers, are they inside your circle of trust?
Yeah, they are by default because I think they're going to win that division.
You feel forced to put them into it.
Well, yeah, of course. I think they're going to get there. Mike Tomlin, again, he's going to win, more games than he loses like he always does. I think they'll get to 10 wins. I think they'll be 10-7 this year, division champions. I don't expect anything from them in the postseason. Do I think they get there? Do I think they win the division? Yeah.
Indianapolis Colts.
Indiana Jones, man. You have to like the Colts and what they're doing.
You got the Colts inside the circle of trust.
At this point, you have to. I mean, the way they're playing a lot better than I expected them to play. Daniel Jones is giving that team life. Believe it or not, never thought I'd say that in the world. I did pick them the first week. I did like the Colts there, but yeah, the Colts, man, they've been hanging around and playing tough. They're a lot more physical than I gave them credit for being. But offensively, they're moving the ball around. It's going to be a great little battle between Jacksonville and the Colts for that division.
Green Bay Packers.
Still in it, but barely.
Holding on for me.
Hold on. They should be there. I mean, you had Micah Parsons and Cleveland's got
You
a very
lost
good
to
defense.
Cleveland and tied the Cowboys? What are we doing here?
You tied a team that let Russell Wilson throw for 450 and 3 touchdowns, even though the Giants didn't beat the Cowboys that day. It's Russell Wilson, 450 yards and 3 touchdowns, and you tie that team, and I hate ties, by the way. Green Bay is barely there. I like the quarterback and receiver situation that they have, and I love Micah Parsons over on that defense. But yeah, man, it's like, what the hell?
Moving over to the NFC side of things, the Seattle Seahawks. Are they inside your circle of trust?
I think so. I think McDaniel's brought a tough team. I think it's a very tough team to play. They're hanging around. They're smashing opponents, when they can. But DK Metcalf loss hadn't hurt them. I thought it would, but it hasn't. And I like what it did. I like Torrey Horton and what he's provided. Already 3 touchdowns for the 5th-round pick that they had out of Colorado State. He's got a couple receiving, has one on a big punt return. But, yeah, the Seahawks are in it.
Coming up on the other side, Binkley, we have not got a chance to play a game with you in quite some time. We're going to play The Prime is Right. I don't know if you've heard that game or not, but we'll play The Prime is Right here coming up in just a little bit. And Binkley, it's been a long time. I need random question time with Jay Binkley. 913-586-7965. If there's a question that you would like to randomly ask Jay Binkley, now is the time to ask that question. 913-586-7965. We'll play The Prime is Right coming up in a bit. We'll also get random questions with Binkley. We'll get back to Frank White and him being ousted as the Jackson County executive. We'll do that at the top of the hour. Keep it locked in right here on The Drive on 96.5 The Fan.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Watch the show on YouTube by subscribing to the 965 YouTube channel. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5 The Fan.
This report is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
Get 5 quarts of Valvoline full synthetic motor oil, a Wix filter, and a $15 gift card after rebate at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Numerous brands to choose from, endless options, one incredible experience. At Aristocrat Motors, we treat every driver like royalty and offer the finest luxury vehicle experience in Kansas City. Come see us today and let us roll out the red carpet for you.
$100,000 is up for grabs only at Harrah's Kansas City. With 3 ways to win, you could score major prizes. 1. Each day through October 4th, earn to swipe your Caesars Rewards card at a BattleBucks kiosk to instantly win up to $100,000 cash. 2. Collect targets and sink a ship worth up to $1,000 free play. 3. Join us October 4th for drawings with a grand prize of $50,000 cash at Harrah's Kansas City. Visit our website for full details. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help this patient.
Hi, this is Doug. I'm a patient with Heartland Men's Health. I've been doing low T treatment for just under a year now.
I've always dedicated my life to work. I've always found the time to go to gym. I'm 46 years old. My energy level has been on a roller coaster. With work, when we would have like long, stressful meetings, I would notice that I was very exhausted and drained afterwards. And with the low T treatment, I'm not as stressed. I started to feel a lot more level-headed. The roller coaster kind of went away. I think Heartland Men's Health, they really have it figured out. The professional staff, I think it's a wonderful treatment for men of any age. And it's definitely a benefit I'm going to continue.
Thank you. It's true. Your initial appointment includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Football season's in full swing, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all of the action. And you can select entries and win money right now, today, in the state of Missouri. And playing on Underdog is easy. Just choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and more. Get all your entries right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. I love combining selections from multiple games into one entry. That's how I play on the Underdog app. So download the Underdog app today and sign up with promo code BOB to score $100 in bonus funds or entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code BOB. Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 and over and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Thank you for making Total Wine & More America's #1 online source for spirits, beer, and wine. Better than all those delivery apps. Total Wine's prices are up to 30% lower with super fast delivery and no hidden fees. Order direct at TotalWine.com and pay less today.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Chumba Casino brings non-stop fun straight to your screen. Anytime, anywhere. Explore hundreds of games like slots, blackjack, and instant scratch-style cards. Sign up to unlock your free welcome bonus and daily login bonuses. And enjoy your chance at exciting prizes without spending a thing. Just click, play, and enjoy the ride. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Downtown, that's a crash. 35 southbound as you approach a 70. The right lane is blocked. 71 northbound, just before 75th, right lane blocked there. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, I'm Val, 96.5 The Fan.
It's time to build that dream deck over at All Weather Decks. Schedule a free estimate today at 913-206-1974 or online at allweatherdecks.net. All Weather Decks, the right deck at the right price.
Binkley, we are going to get to random question time coming up in a bit, but it is time to play The Prime is Right. Now, you've heard of The Price is Right, but we play The Prime is Right.
Like steaks?
We have gone on the $15.87 Prime menu, and we have priced out what a dinner date could potentially cost you.
Let's say my Texas Roadhouse, right?
Let's say you meet a young lady. I don't know where you're meeting young ladies at these days. Are you an app guy? Are you an online dating website? Where are you meeting the honeys at?
Farmers Only.
Farmers Only. Okay. All right. FarmersMeat.com. Shout out to my guy Binkley on Farmers Meat. So I have priced you out a meal. Are you ready?
Ready.
You kick things off with the shrimp cocktail. Little conversation. She wants to try the French onion soup. Now, that shrimp cocktail wasn't enough for you, so you go back and you get the lobster rolls. Now it's time for you to get your entree. She gets the salmon, you get the bone-in strip. You gotta have a side, so you get the lobster mac and cheese. Binkley, I know you. You gotta wash it down with the beverage. She gets the Showtime drink, which is a nice rum-based drink. You gotta get yourself a beer.
Is that the one they light on fire?
No, that's the Alchemy. That's a little different drink. you get yourself 1 beer. How much does all of this cost? The shrimp cocktail, the French onion soup, lobster rolls. She gets the salmon. You get the bone-in strip, a little lobster mac for the side. She gets the Showtime cocktail. You get a beer. How much is that tab costing you,
Just
JB?
one drink each, right?
Yeah, one drink each. I mean, I can add another drink if you want me to
It's
add
me
one
more
in
than my
there.
Texas Roadhouse, man, but I'm going to say $2.50.
$2.53,
Is that right?
$2.53.
I didn't look at anything. I was just guessing, man.
That's why the prime is right.
$2.50.
$2.53, Binkley.
It probably would have been
What
about
kind of
two.
beer did you have him getting?
Just one.
No, like, was there a what was it? All beer one price, or was it like, hey, a Tank 7 and a Mick Ultra are in different categories?
I went Coors Light because of the
Okay.
play. I knew they'd have it because Mahomes.
That's
is
a
Coors
fair
Light guy.
point. On their menu, I'm sure they have a different one. On the online menu, they just had a Mick Ultra. That was the only beer that
Okay.
they had. That was $8 for the Mick Ultra.
For that?
$8.
Mahomes is a Coors Light guy. 1587 should have some Coors Light.
Just telling you, I'm reading the 1587 prime. menu.
$2.50. Can you imagine getting that check for 2 people? I'd be like that alligator in that commercial. I can't reach the check. I can't reach
I'm not gonna lie to you. If you're at 1587 prime, you walk out with $2.50.
Oh, you gotta be happy.
You gotta be happy.
Yeah, you gotta be
You're
thrilled.
very happy.
Yeah, no, I'm thrilled.
Like
$3.50.
if you're
I'm
a waiter
happy.
or waitress, why would you go anywhere else but there? I mean, seriously, you can go to Chili's or Applebee's or any of that. You're not gonna make that kind of cash on $2.50 like that. Just 2 people eating. Come on, if there's 4 people, you'll get $500.
What's the best meal you've ever had, Binkley? Like, if you're like, this is the best meal I've ever had.
Oh man,
I know the 2 that popped to my mind, but I want to hear yours.
the Savoy back in the day.
Okay,
Back
I've
in the
heard of
day.
this place.
And what's that steakhouse that's down there? I can't think of the name of it. I don't give me fancy places, man. I can't think of the name of it. Ruth Chris, I have been there.
Okay. The 2 that I would throw in the conversation.
Or the Capitol Grill.
Yeah,
Ruth
fantastic meal. I went to Peter Luger's in Caesar's Palace in July. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what they're doing with their steak that everybody else can't do. That steak was amazing. I don't even really like spinach like this, but they had like cream spinach, and I just decided to give it a try. I ordered a second helping of it. It was, I'm telling you, Peter Luger. That's the best food I ever had.
I've gotten to the point where if you just go get the steak and cook it yourself, like you love great steak when you go at the steakhouse.
I ain't never had nobody cook their steak like
but
how they
it's
made it.
so much less money to just buying the steak and
fair.
just putting it on the grill. But
No,
yeah,
that's
so
fair.
I've spent some money on some places. Not very often. I typically go to Texas Roadhouse. Some of it's
No, nothing,
steak, yeah.
nothing wrong with that. Did you hear the story about the text line? So almost 55% of men admit that they order from the kids menu because it's smaller portions, cheaper.
Never.
So I went to go try that. I went to Outback and I got some food
I heard
from the
that.
kids menu. It was one of the worst decisions that I've made in 2025. It was a bottom 3 decision.
It's usually like chicken nuggets and macaroni.
They had steak.
They had steak on the kids menu?
The steak was unseasoned. It was unflavored.
It was like a little piece of it, like 1 ounce.
It was like somebody went to Hy-Vee, grabbed the steak, didn't season it, didn't marinate it, and just put it on the grill and flipped it over and served it to me.
Why
It didn't have any.
Why are we doing it to the kids?
I
Why are we
I
doing
know.
it to the kids?
We think the kids don't have a palate. They don't know flavor. They don't know taste. They don't know
Yeah.
seasoning.
Why are we doing this to kids?
I'm offended. Bink, we got 5 minutes left in this segment. There's only one thing to do.
Random question time!
Binkley, I love that. Binkley, be honest with us. Did you know who Bad Bunny was before a couple days ago?
No, but I did because of Happy Gilmore.
Okay,
Like
that's
someone
fair.
said,
I thought he was very good in Happy
and like,
Gilmore.
Who's Bad Bunny? But here's the thing. I talked about this the other night on After. I said I hate halftime shows. I do. That's the time you go pee and grab food or whatever. I hate the halftime shows. I think they're contrived. I think they're dumb. I would rather see frisbees catching or dogs catching frisbees or men juggling fire. I would rather see those things.
So you want like an NBA halftime show?
I mean, just dogs out there catching frisbees
You
everywhere.
want-
To me, is more entertaining than a Bad Bunny.
You want red panda. You want a little unicycle, little plates, that's what you want. That's
I
your
want Joey
halftime.
Chestnut's butt on the 50 eating 70 hot dogs for 10 minutes.
Okay. Oh, I can't argue that. Someone on the text line asked if you watch the Ryder Cup. Are you a Ryder Cup individual?
Love that. I love the PGA Tour. I watch pretty much every event throughout the year, but I love the Ryder Cup. I think it's fun. And it was always one of those dual TV vision or 3, whenever it's always college football. But when you sprinkle in the Ryder Cup, you had to have that, the NFL. So, yeah, I love the Ryder Cup. I'm sad that they made that charge there on the last day and couldn't quite get it done. But, yeah, I love the Ryder Cup.
Did you used to watch, and this is back to the halftime thing, do you remember when MTV used to do Celebrity Deathmatch during the halftime show? Did you used to watch that?
Vaguely. No, I didn't watch it.
Rob, did you watch this back in the day?
I was aware it was happening. I was too young to flip over and watch.
I didn't watch it.
Tomorrow,
I heard of it, though.
Tomorrow, if you got cast to go on a reality TV show, what show would you go on? Like, you don't have to audition, just, hey, we love your personality. You take your pick of the litter. What show would you like to go on? You'd be a great reality TV character.
They don't do, well, I would do that, Survivor, maybe? I mean, I'd be terrible at it, but it was kind of a classic.
Would you go on The Bachelor? Like, would you be The Bachelor?
No, but I do The Bachelor in Paradise. You're rotating around. Yeah, I would do that one.
Okay, I just didn't know.
But I would never go on The Bachelor, though. No, I wouldn't do that. It just seems, what do you do all day, man?
I don't know. Have you ever been on a blind date before?
I think probably. I don't remember it, but no, not really.
Someone on the text line wants to know, Bink, is there a such thing as bad beer? Is there a beer that just you don't like?
Not really. I mean, when you get used to drinking a beer and you're drinking like something. No, it just depends on the mood. Like if you're sitting there and you want, a nice Boulevard or something. I'm a Coors Light drinker most of the year, but I do the seasonals in October, November, December, January, and all the way to spring with Irish ale from Boulevard. But no, I've never really had like a bad beer. No one's ever given me a beer and I'm like, no, I'm not going to have it. Not going to take it. And I'll drink every beer. Every one of them.
What's the last movie you watched? I just always love asking you this question because it could be anything. You could tell me you haven't seen a movie since you told me you watched Top Gun.
Top Gun Maverick.
Or you could just tell me
not the original Top Gun Maverick. Oh, no. The Twisters. The tornado show.
That was a good
one. With Glenn Powell. That's the last one I saw.
Does Happy Gilmore count? Happy Gilmore 2 count?
Ooh, does that count?
That's a movie.
No, okay, the Happy Gilmore.
Would that count?
Well, he was thinking theater. That's fair.
Okay. I mean, like, when was the last time at home you just decided I want to watch Happy Gilmore 2?
Happy Gilmore.
What was the movie before Happy Gilmore 2? That was a good point.
It would have been Twisters.
I didn't specify.
It would have been
I
Twisters.
liked Twisters. I thought it was good.
And then Top Gun Maverick before that. Remember that concussion we saw? It was like a station. It had been years, like 10 years or 15 years before I even went to a theater. I went through this huge gap and not even going to the theater. But
someone on the text line wants to know, would you rather live on a beach or live in the snowy mountains?
Snowy mountain, 100%. Give me the snow, give me the mountain, give me the natural cooler of snow, fresh snow on the ground. Give me snow.
Give us a restaurant up north that doesn't get enough love.
Al's.
Okay.
Al's Wings in Parkville. It's got some of the best wings in Kansas City. Dude's from Buffalo. He doesn't draw the Bills Mafia when they play the Chiefs. So put that out of the equation, but the guy does have some great wings.
You did change my life in going to Retro Bowl in Liberty. You did change my life.
Oh, yeah, the 300 burger?
I go up there like once a quarter.
That is one of the best burgers in Kansas City.
It's incredible.
I'm telling you,
it's
man,
just the whole
bowling
ambiance
food
and the vibe of it.
And you went to Toto's Tacos that one time in Wamigo?
Yeah, for sure.
Are you a in a tub person?
I do like In a Tub for the novelty of it.
I like In a Tub too.
In a Tub's been a friend forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Because up north, it was In a Tub, it was Smokehouse Barbecue. I mean, these are just like staples of the Northland.
Binkley, do you smoke?
No.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Okay, just wanted to know. You can tell me if you do.
No, I don't smoke.
It's legal where we live, so I was just asking.
Oh, you mean that?
Yeah, it's legal.
No, I don't smoke. I've had a gummy.
How'd that work for you?
Got the wrong kind. I was at a beer, and I was like, well, let's take 2 of those. So I just grabbed like a whole bunch of those cubes, and I was sitting there, and I got high as a kite, man. And I was falling asleep in front of everybody. And I was like, that was something to help you go to sleep, not to get the munchies. But I was sitting there and falling asleep on everybody. I'd gotten a hold of the wrong stuff, man. The wrong stuff. I've never done it again. I was like completely out of it, man.
I've only done gummies one time. I took a bite of one.
That was it, though.
I didn't feel it. And I was like, oh, man, give me another one. That's weak. It had me sitting there contemplating life for a second. I was like, hold on. I gotta relax.
So my mom, my 7-year-old mother, got into gummies one night. One time ever. And she called me and said, these things don't work. And she's a health food junkie. I'm like, what's that noise? She goes, well, it's Doritos. I'm like, Mom, you're stoned. She's just giggling and stuff. I was like, it is working for you.
That is our guy, Jay Binkley, joining us in studio. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll talk about Frank White, who got fired on his day off. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
This is Wyatt Thompson from K-State, and you're listening to The Drive with CDOT right here on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This one brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Up north, we've got a two-car crash, 435 northbound just past 210 highway, finally off to the left shoulder and a lot of onlooker delay. Down south, 435 westbound past State Line, left lane blocked by a crash. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center, I'm Val, 96.5 The Fan.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
This report is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
Right now, receive up to a $25 O'Reilly gift card after rebate with the purchase of select Superstart batteries at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Please gamble responsibly. Coming up Week 5 Pro Football Sunday, Indianapolis, a 7-point home favorite against Las Vegas. Total in the game is 48. And if you bet Las Vegas last week like I did against Chicago, you were probably pretty upset with Vegas' starting quarterback throwing 3 interceptions. Makes it difficult to bet on Las Vegas again, but that's what I want to do here. I think Indianapolis is way overvalued in this spot. I think Indy likely to win the game, but 7 is way too rich for me. So coming up this Sunday, Week 5 in Pro Football, I want to take +7 with Vegas in Indianapolis. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-814-1500. That's 800-814-1500. 800-814-1500.
Hey, Mr. C, it's me. Well, I just picked up the ring. I actually went to Hellsberg. Thanks for that recommendation. Kate's gonna love that hers is from the same jeweler you got Mrs. C's ring from. They were so helpful throughout the whole process. They even knew your family by name, and the ring looks great. Anyways, I just couldn't wait to let you guys know. Call me back and wish me luck.
Hellsberg, designed with care and craft since 1915. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
Listen to the Chiefs and Jaguars on Monday night with pregame starting at 4. Kickoff at 7:15 with Mitch, Danon, and Kling. Right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City. An Odyssey sports station.
I have to call a quick audible. I feel like I get one of these a show. I'm going to call it right now. I was just reading a story during the break that October is the most popular month for weddings. I want you to know that the rest of us think that you are selfish if you choose to have your wedding in October. Now, I understand there's different reasons for why people do it, but April is sitting right there available. May is sitting right there available. It's not bothering anybody. There's not really anything that happens in April that people are going to miss. There's not really much in May, early May, that people are going to miss. You know the months that should be blackout months. You're selfish if you're getting married in late November. You're selfish if you're getting married in December. You know this isn't a good time for people. October, selfish. Think of all the things that happen in the month of October. The NFL is going. College football is going. The NBA is about to start. The Ryder Cup just finished up. The WNBA finals are wrapping up. Golf is still going on. Baseball playoffs, World Series is coming up. All of these things are going all at one time. And now you want to get married on October 11th? Selfish. Only thinking about yourself. You think this day is about you? Of course it's not. Because you invited 200 other people to be here. It's about us too. Just get married in April. You know, get married April 17th. That's a nice time. Nobody feels conflicted in April. We all feel very conflicted in October when you made this decision. Selfish. That's what it is. It's selfish. I'm selfish. That's my official stance. Selfish. Now I got to pick. I got to pick between Missouri, Alabama, and your wedding. Why would you do this to me? That's not right. Rob, you did it right. That's what happened. When you picked it, you did it right.
I had one stipulation. Time of year. No offense to my wedding. I enjoyed myself.
It was great.
I didn't care about flowers. I didn't care about timeline. I had thoughts on the venue, but if I got outvoted, I got outvoted. I really cared about when the wedding is and music. That's what I was really locked into in my wedding planning. Photographer, go crazy. Pick whoever you want. But I had two things, and time of year was one of the big ones.
Yeah, because that matters. Your wife, she knows who you are. You can't get married on March 17th. Come on now.
Now, I will say, I did June. It basically killed any outside ideas. You can't get married outside
That's fine.
in June.
That's life. You got to sacrifice something, right? Are you going to sacrifice Miami, Florida State, or sacrifice us having fun outside? You have to pick which one you wanted to do. You picked. You made the right decision. You made the right choice. Everybody was there. It was a great time. We boogied the night away. You think I'm missing Missouri, Alabama for that? No, come on now. It's too important. This might be the biggest game they've ever had in the SEC, and you're asking me to show up at your wedding? No, we ain't even that close. A terrible decision. Awful. Somebody said April's calendars. NCAA Final Four. I ain't had no problem missing that. Y'all got it. You know what? My time is always free for the Final Four every single year. There's never been a time I was like, I don't know, I'm really busy. No, I got time. I will be okay if I don't watch North Carolina, Syracuse in the Final Four. I'll be fine. The Masters, that has never rearranged a weekend for me. Man, you know what? I really wanted to hang out with you, but I can't. It's the Masters. No, it's good. No, you got it. And the NFL draft. Okay. All right. Especially on a Saturday.
It's like the Saturday of the draft.
Yeah, on a Saturday. I'm not advocating for you to get married on a Thursday for round one. That is also selfish.
A Thursday night, that's crazy. Saturday NFL draft, I will say this. I agree with you on the fall weddings. If I had an April wedding and I invited you and said, nah, I got to watch round 7 of the draft.
Yeah, that's good.
We're fighting.
Yeah, we're not cool then. Yeah, we're not cool. You my brother, but come on now. What are we doing? That's crazy.
I got to see Brashard Smith get picked, man. I'm sorry. No, you don't.
Yeah, no, I'm on your side. I'm on your side there. No, I wanted you to know that. I just read an article that October is the most popular month for people to get married. You're selfish then. That's the only way to put it. You're selfish. Only thinking about self and what you need. Like that day is about you. No, it's about all of us. So you got to make the decision that's in the best interest of all of us. Get married in February. Get married in February. That's great.
Now I will say,
celebrate love.
I have a question for you because this was a hotly contested debate. Because I got married a couple of years ago. I had some friends that were engaged and getting married at the same time. What are your thoughts on if someone invited you to a New Year's Eve wedding?
How close are we? Like, is it your wedding?
You're not in the wedding, but you're close with the person.
Is it in town?
It's in town.
Oh, yeah, I would go.
Okay.
I would go. I got to go out of town for it?
Oh, that's different, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a massive debate.
If it's out of town, that changed. I don't care when it is. That changes my opinion. I got a lot of questions before this.
Yeah, no, that was just a massive debate among my friends. If that's inbounds or out of bounds.
Yeah, that's inbounds. You can't get married like the 27th, though. I think you're being selfish.
No, 27th is wrong.
Yeah, you got to specifically be thinking about
New Year's
that.
Eve.
Yeah, okay. That's inbounds. I can live with that. Coming up in a little bit, we are going to play the best of Matt Evans. He was on the show earlier today. He answered all of our questions about Frank White, who he got fired. They just said, you know what, your services are no longer needed in the community, and they took his key card away. Now, this is some of the thoughts that I have about all of this. In some ways, I feel bad for Frank White. Frank White, let's say 20 years ago, was one of the most beloved figures in the city. He was one of the most beloved figures. I'm talking about he could have turned on the plaza lights and you would have been happy with that being the selection. He could have run for mayor. He would have won if he wanted to have been the mayor. Frank White was very, very high on the approval rating of Kansas Cityans. He played for the Royals for 17 years. He was a part of 2 teams that went to the World Series. He helped win a World Series. His number is retired. There's a statue of him out at Kauffman Stadium. People loved Frank White. That ain't really the case right now. Not very beloved. It wasn't even close in how he got voted out. It was 85-15. 85-15. You didn't have a base. You didn't have support. People wanted to get rid of you. The other way that I feel bad for Frank White, I understand that the taxes thing has affected a lot of people, the stadium. I completely understand all of these things. I do feel like the Chiefs and the Royals have made Frank White the scapegoat for a lot of things, when I think in hindsight, Frank was right. I don't think that the Royals and the Chiefs gave a very good plan on what the future of the Truman Sports Complex looked like. I don't think that the teams put together a good enough package or convinced the public enough to sell them on $1 billion idea. You want to know how I know? Because like most things in this country, it eventually went to a vote. So regardless of what Casey Tenets had to say, regardless of what Frank White had to say, regardless of what you heard on the radio, eventually you get the opportunity to exercise your democratic right. If you wanted the downtown stadium bad enough, they had a chance for us to have the downtown stadium. And the people that live in Jackson County said no resoundingly. We don't want this idea. Try again. In the middle of one of the greatest dynasties in the history of American sports, the Chiefs asked for money. The people said no. Try again. That's not good enough. Instead of blaming Clark Hunt for putting together a half-assed proposal, instead of blaming John Sherman, you bought the team with this vision of downtown baseball and you weren't able to get it over the hump. Another person is being blamed for their failure. I do feel bad for that reason. But ultimately, Frank White is a man that made a decision. He could have just lived out his days. He could have been George Brett. What did George Brett do all day? I don't know. I'm not saying that to knock the man. He's retired. George Brett to me seems like a man that just hangs out, plays golf, smokes cigars, chills with his friends, and just lives an amazing life. That's what Frank White could have been. He could have just hung out all day. Just been great. I could have just been Frank White. You know, get you a nice little cushy insurance job, sell insurance, and live a very peaceful, comfortable life. That man wanted to get into public service. He wanted to be a politician and wanted to be a politician without any real qualification other than I'm really good at playing baseball. And people was like, yeah, okay, sure, we'll let you try it. He failed miserably at it. He was bad. I mean, like Mayor Funkhauser, bad at it. So I can only feel so bad for Frank when you didn't do a whole lot of things right. You got to pick one of two things. You can't mess up people's money the way that you did with the taxes and really, really hurt a lot of families, homes, businesses, and fumble the stadium issue. You got to pick one of the two. You got to pick one of the two. And I think this also hurt him a lot. He's not very visible. One of your assets is your name, your face, your personality. You're Frank White. Frank White should be as visible as Mayor Quinn Lucas is. I know not all of you are big fans of him, but one thing you got to give Mayor Quinn Lucas a lot of credit for. He does interviews. You see him. He's accessible. You can touch him. You can talk to him. If you got an issue with the way it's run, it ain't that hard to get a hold of Mayor Quinn Lucas and let him know how you feel about it. I've seen Frank White one time in 2 years. It was at a documentary. I've seen him one time. We've tried to get him on the show. Why don't you ask? We've tried. It gets denied all the time. I want to get his side of the story. I want to hear what he has to say. He ain't too interested in talking, which is a really bad thing if you are in public service. You should maybe talk to the public. He didn't really want to do that. So I can only feel so bad for so long for Frank White. We had Bob Fesco on the show earlier today. Here's what he said.
It really is a sad fall from grace by Frank White, but he did it to himself, and he had a great job with the Royals being their TV guy. You can't talk trash about the organization when you work for them, and that's why that ended. And, you know, he never became the manager. No other team hired Frank White as the manager either. You don't normally want to hire your quote-unquote heroes to be your manager or your head coach, because eventually you know what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to fire those guys, right? And so that's not something that you want to do. And so you look at, you know, the whole situation involving Frank. He went from a guy who could have wrote his ticket in this town to do anything to a guy that everybody's packing boxes up for him and kicking him out the door. It really is. Ultimately, you know, we do one word at 7:30. The one word is sad for Frank White right now. It is a sad, sad situation, you know, involving him. But again, he did it to himself. Nobody else can be blamed for this. That's what, you know, life is all about. Things happen to you. It's your fault. Take responsibility for it. And Frank's going to have to take responsibility for this and then getting his ass kicked yesterday at the polls.
Somebody on the text line makes a really, really good point. C-Dot, do you know how hard it is to get 85% of voters to agree on something? I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, people were questioning if Martin Luther King Jr. was a good person. Like, that happened recently in American society. It's hard to get 85% of people on the side of something. 85% of people went to the polls and were like, we don't want you around anymore. You're done. You're out of here. That has to count for something. Like, I haven't seen a fall from grace like this in quite some time. Another thing that we were debating, and I want to play for you guys what Matt Evans had to say coming up in just a little bit, is earlier today we had a Spec Says. Spec Says is a pretty simple thing. Spec Says is we let Spec go in the recording studio and we let him record whatever take he has for the day. This is what he said.
All right, I guess what I'm about to say isn't going to make me any less unpopular than Frank White, but let me at least ask the question. If this team, being the Royals, moved to Kansas, should the number 20 remain retired by the organization? And the reason that I ask that question is I think it's been pretty clear from the beginning that John Sherman wants downtown baseball. But one of the biggest hurdles in making that happen has been Frank White. So if the Royals move to 119th and all and leave the state of Missouri and leave Jackson County, do the Royals make the decision to unretire Frank White's number 20? Would it be petty? Yes. Would it be for non-baseball reasons? Yes. Would it be for non-baseball reasons that didn't include a crime or some sort of heinous act? Yes. But in the last decade and a half, there's been an unceremonious firing as a broadcaster after taking shots at the organization, and then as a politician being a hindrance to progress for not only the organization, but the county that the team originally wants to be in and has been in for their entire existence. Frank White and the number 20 are synonymous with the Royals and their history in Jackson County and at Kauffman Stadium. But if they ultimately end up at 119th and all in a different state, I don't think the Royals owe Frank White anything in that case.
A couple of things before we play this, Matt Evans. Time heals all. There was a point in which people signed a petition to get Larry Johnson out of the city. They signed a petition to get him out of here because he was close to breaking the Chiefs' all-time rushing record. I also sat and I saw people's hearts and minds change with one radio interview that he did. With one radio interview. I know that a lot of people are unhappy with Frank White, and I don't think he did a great job as a politician. But what he did in his life after baseball shouldn't affect how we feel about him as a baseball player, especially when what we're talking about is him being bad at his next job. We're not talking about he had some scandal. We didn't catch him with some 12-year-old. We don't have some Donald Sterling tape. We don't have any of this with Frank White. He hasn't shamed himself in a moral way. So now we're talking about erasing his baseball accomplishments? This just doesn't seem right to me, especially when we don't have this stance with anybody else. Jared Allen's in the Chiefs' Ring of Honor. He just went into the Hall of Fame. Do we got to go by what got Jared Allen traded away from the Kansas City Chiefs? We don't have to do this. I'm not here to do this with everybody. Like, what you accomplished on the field is what you accomplished on the field. So, no, they shouldn't remove the 20 from left field. They shouldn't remove his statue. Frank White is still one of the most important people in Kansas City sports history. Some of that is for incredible things, and some of that might end up being for bad things. If the teams move, he plays some part in it. I don't think he plays the biggest part, and I think we are removing the fact that the Chiefs just might have always wanted to move and maybe purposely tanked the vote, and the Royals put together a very haphazard plan. The Royals didn't have the approval of the community that they were going to move into until 1 o'clock on Election Day. They didn't have a lot of their ducks in a row. The community they wanted to move into was actively fighting against them moving into it. Frank's got to carry all of that by himself. I'm not here to defend Frank White. I'm really not, especially on today. I got to call it how I see it. I got to call it down the middle. And advocating for them to remove his statue and eliminate his jersey being retired just feels very, very reactionary for what we're talking about. Earlier today, we were joined by Matt Evans of Channel 9. We asked him, was he surprised that Frank White was ousted by such a wide margin?
Yeah, I mean, nobody is surprised that this recall happened. We were talking about it in the newsroom yesterday. You know, the question wasn't, does he survive or not? The question is, how bad does he lose? Because we've been talking to voters for weeks now. This recall election has been going on for a long time. And Frank White supporters have been hard to find in Jackson County, Missouri. You know, we tried, every time we tried to go do an election story, we want to get a Frank White supporter on because we want to be balanced in our coverage, and they were tough to find. So it was pretty clear that the majority of the county was not interested in retaining him as county executive. But 85-15, that's a huge difference. I mean, the turnout was low, as it's expected to be an election like this, but that is a pretty strong rebuke of the county executive from Jackson County voters.
So if you're him, why would you try to fight this? I mean, the public has pretty clearly came out in resounding fashion and said, we don't want you in charge anymore. But maybe it's ego, pride, whatever you want to say. It sounds like he's going to try to fight this thing when the good thing for everybody for him to do would just be quietly accept this and just move on.
Well, you know, if you talk to Frank White, he's done some interviews here in the last few weeks that he hasn't done for a long time. He believes he's been unfairly targeted, and he believes that there's been dark money behind this effort to get him out of office. He thinks it's all because of the Royals and Chief Stadium's dealings. He's talked about how this effort to recall him has been funded by folks like the Heavy Constructors Association, who obviously are very pro-new stadium in Jackson County, Missouri. So he believes he's been unfairly targeted. He says that the county assessment mess was not necessarily his fault because the county was undervalued so much in its residential properties for years and years and years. So in his mind, he's done nothing wrong. He's been unfairly targeted. So that's probably why we will see a lot of these legal challenges play out in court, the latest of which was denied by the Missouri Supreme Court just less than an hour ago. So certainly there will be more legal challenges. If those get anywhere, though, is a whole nother question.
I think Frank could have really done himself a big service if he had just been more open and transparent from the very, very beginning. The fact that just he has been so elusive, he didn't come on radio shows like this. He didn't kind of make the rounds and just kind of communicate why he felt the way that he felt about the stadium. We can get to the taxes issue, which is a separate issue, but the fact that he was so hard to get a hold of for basically 2 years didn't do him a lot of favors when he actually needed those favors.
Well, that's certainly a case can be made for that. If you talk to Frank White, his argument is that he was held by NDAs, non-disclosure agreements for a lot of those things. He says he didn't want to show his hand as far as how negotiations were going. So certainly if you talk to him, he says he has good reasons for not being forthcoming with that information. Obviously, these negotiations are high profile. A lot of people want a lot of information. He was not comfortable providing that information. But, yeah, I think even just a little bit, even just a nugget of information about some of these dealings could have certainly helped the public's view of him in the long run.
Right now, we're talking to Matt Evans of Channel 9, just getting his thoughts on Frank White, who has been recalled as the Jackson County executive. Matt, how much of this do you think is related to property taxes and people's frustration with that? How much of it do you think is related to the stadiums?
I think most of it's property taxes. I mean, that is something that every single person in Jackson County feels every year when you go to pay that property tax bill, and it has doubled, tripled, quadrupled in some cases, and a lot of times there was seemingly no rhyme or reason behind it. I mean, that hits people directly in their wallets. Any voter I talked to in the last couple of weeks, they said property taxes first, but also the stadium mess second. So I think the property taxes was probably the final nail in the coffin for Frank White because he has continued to defend the position of the county in this property tax mess that has seen multiple legal challenges, still under multiple legal challenges, and has not willingly rolled any of that back. So I really think when you talk to voters who were voting yesterday, they are upset about the property taxes, and they're hopeful that a new county executive can rein some of that in. Now, that is a huge question if they can or not. There's also going to be a question in November if the county assessor should be an elected position instead of an appointed position. That probably passes as well. So certainly there will be changes coming to the assessment department in Jackson County. Exactly what those changes are and if they can make a true impact when it comes to the final property tax bill, that's another question too.
Right now, we're talking to Matt Evans. Let's transition to the stadium. You mentioned that the stadium played a part in it. How big of a part do you think it played in it? I mean, it seems to me that both of the teams kind of used Frank White as a scapegoat for. I don't think the Royals had a great plan. I don't think the Chiefs had a good plan. No one wants to blame Clark Hunt. No one wants to blame John Sherman. Let's blame Frank White.
I think you're right on it there, Carrington. I mean, when you look at what happened in Jackson County before this vote, Frank White was against the vote ever happening in the first place. He campaigned against the vote. Once it finally got onto the ballot, the legislature had to override his veto. So a lot of people saw that as the head of the county being unwilling to play ball with the Chiefs and with the Royals. And when people in this community are so passionate about both of those teams, they want to support them, no matter what. And they see the person steering the ship at the county side not supporting them, not finding a way to support them. I think that sent a message to a lot of voters. And I think that the teams absolutely pointed to Frank White as a scapegoat in this process. Is that fair? Maybe not entirely. Did he play a role? He certainly did because he campaigned against it. But I think that certainly was weighing on voters' minds as well. Probably not as big as the property taxes, but if you wanted to find a reason to vote Frank White out of office, you could have found a bunch. If you wanted to find a reason to keep him in office, you probably couldn't find as many, or you weren't going to be as passionate about going to the polls yesterday. People that went to the polls yesterday were upset. They were mad. They had reasons to be mad, and that's why we saw the vote go 85-15 against them.
It's kind of crazy, Matt, but in hindsight, what Frank was saying, he wasn't wrong. The Royals didn't have a great plan, and we're asking for a whole lot of money without a lot of transparency on what they were going to do with the money. The Chiefs' upgrade ideas were minimal at best. This kind of goes to my point earlier about just simply communicating the why and just being more transparent in the entire process. I don't really think that Frank was wrong in his opposition. I just don't think he handled it very politically or very diplomatically.
Yeah, I think you're right, and truly, the plans were flawed from both of the teams, and you can point to a whole lot of reasons as to why that is. But Frank, the way Frank played this politically was he held his cards close to his chest. He never really let other members of the legislature in. That angered a lot of members of the legislature because they're like, "What are we doing here, Frank? We need to move on this." And Frank has said, I signed an NDA or I can't talk about it. Trust me, I've got it. And well, he hasn't done a lot to get the trust from a lot of members of the legislature. There's been that, a very, very tense relationship between the county executive and the county legislature now for years. So he certainly didn't play it very tactfully when it comes to communicating with the county legislature, communicating with the public, and then ultimately communicating his position.
That was Matt Evans of Channel 9 joining us on the show earlier today. I would highly encourage you to check out in its entirety over on 96.5 The Fan. Coming up on the other side, let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs as we get ready for Monday Night Football. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, a show that prides itself on getting it right.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5 The Fan.
This is Creed Humphrey. Kansas City has the best fans in the world and the best bull riding team in the PBR. The Outlaws are looking to win it all this year, but they can't do it without you. I'm the chief of Outlaw Attitude, and I need you to pack the house. So buckle up and make some noise. The Outlaws are coming, and we know KC will be there with us. Come see Kansas City's next dynasty and join me at PBR Team Outlaw Days, October 3rd through 5th.
If you're in the market for a new home or looking to sell your home, you need to contact the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home. It's Dawn Sharp with the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty. And with so much inventory coming on the market, buyers have choices. The Sharp Homes team helps you stage, photograph, and present your home so it's qualified buyers remember and want to fight to buy your home. Contact Dawn and her team via Google. You can just Google Sharp Homes team. That's Sharp Homes team. And start packing.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Legendary doesn't happen by chance. It happens because it's what BetMGM does. Sign up for BetMGM and check out all the exciting new ways you can make this pro football season unforgettable. Shoot your shot with same-game parlays, call your plays like a pro with live betting, or bet on a market you didn't know existed thanks to BetMGM Originals. You'll be on the edge of your seat from the very first snap, no matter what type of fan you are. Earn BetMGM rewards points on every bet. Take advantage of football offers found nowhere else, like a second chance on a first touchdown bet, and keep an eye out for rewards dropping in your account throughout the season. Never settle for the ordinary. Sign up today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. Must be 21 years of age or older. Specific promotional offers are not available in Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
We've got the crash in Raytown, 435 southbound. Gregory, the right lane is blocked. Still working the crash, 435 westbound past State Line Road, left lane blocked there. Big backups from the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center. I'm Val, 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
All right, let me ask you guys this question. So I did a poll earlier today, and this poll is on my Twitter account. I think we might have retweeted it. I don't know. This was the poll. The Chiefs right now are 2-2. They have 4 games between now and their game against the Buffalo Bills. These are their opponents. They go on the road on Monday night, and they play Jacksonville. And the Chiefs have 3 straight home games: Detroit, Las Vegas, and the Washington Commanders before they head to Buffalo to take on, in my opinion, I think Buffalo is the best team in the National Football League. What do you think their record is when they play Buffalo? There's 5 possible choices. They could have a losing record, so they can be 2-6 or 3-5. They can be 4-4, 5-3, or they can go undefeated in that stretch and be 6-2. Now, I think the Chiefs are going to lose one of these next 2 games. I think that belief stems from I don't have the same confidence in the Chiefs offense that you guys, I don't say you guys, because you guys might not all feel that way, that some people have is maybe a better way of phrasing it. I am not fully bought in to they have turned some corner. I told you guys that I was 60-40 on their performance on Sunday. I think 60% is them. I think 40% is the Ravens. I think the Ravens right now have one of the bottom 3 defenses in the National Football League, and I think the Chiefs exploited it. But the Chiefs do have Xavier Worthy. If the Chiefs have a continued plan of using Brashard Smith, that is an improvement over what we saw in the first month of the season. So I'm at least open to, hey, maybe this offense is turning the corner in these next 2 days, and they can get past it, and they'll get Rashee Rice back. They'll be healthy, and then you'll have to figure out your rhythm for the first time, having all of your wide receivers there. I think that Jacksonville is a team that can get after the quarterback and can take the football away, so it can really pose problems for the Chiefs offense. And I think Detroit's one of the 5 best teams in the league. So I think the Chiefs lose one of those 2 games. I probably think they lose the Lions game and not the Jacksonville game. I think the Chiefs get Rashee Rice back. I think they beat the Raiders. I think they beat the Commanders. I think they're 5-3 in the first half of the season. I think we feel good about the Chiefs, that they got some of the early kinks out. They're heading into their most important game of the season. After that, there's a bye week, and the Chiefs can really get running in the second half of the season and win 12 games en route to getting back in the division conversation and or being the 2 or the 3 seed in the AFC. That's how I think things play themselves out. So I would have voted 5-3. Where are you at, Rob?
We are on the same page. I think 5-3 is the most likely outcome. Now, I agree with you. I think they're going to lose the game to the Detroit Lions. Like, if you were to say, hey, they're going to lose one of their next, 4 games, who is it? I would circle Detroit. I think Detroit is really good. I actually have been most impressed with Detroit this season. I thought they would regress with no Ben Johnson, and we saw a little bit of regression in week 1 with the Packers, and since then, the Lions have looked like the Lions. So kudos to Dan Campbell, all of them. I think they'll lose that game. But I think Chiefs fans need to understand, this is a tough stretch for the Chiefs. The Jags are a lot saltier than I think people give them credit for because they're the Jags. Like, their name is the Jags, people discredit them. But they're a salty bunch who has a lot to prove. The Lions, as I mentioned, I think Vegas, very little of Vegas, and Jaden Daniels is practicing. So he will be back maybe this week, most likely for Chiefs and Commanders. No doubt he'll be back. So that's a team that was in the NFC Championship game last year, another team that was in the NFC Championship game last year, and a team trying to prove itself as a division champion type of team in 2025. The Chiefs are really good, and if they go 4-0 in that stretch, I think we can start talking about, hosting the AFC title game and all those things again. I think they go 3-1 in that stretch. I think the Lions get them, but I think that stretch is going to be very difficult football for the Chiefs, and they will probably win more than they lose, but I think the games are going to look more similar to how week 1 and 2 looked in the fact they are close back and forth games than week 4 looked.
Someone on the text line says, C-Dot, do you think the 1 seed is out of reach? I do not think the Chiefs can be the 1 seed. I guess it is technically possible for them to be the 1 seed. I find it hard to believe that this season, unless there is a significant injury with Buffalo, I don't think it's very likely that the Chiefs are going to have more wins than Buffalo this year. I felt that way at the very beginning of the season. Their schedule is easy. It's easy. I think they're going to be undefeated by the time they play the Chiefs. Their remaining games until they play Kansas City. They play New England at home, on the road against Atlanta, on the road against Carolina before they play Kansas City. And then after that game, they play the Dolphins. The Dolphins just lost their best offensive player on Monday night. So the Chiefs could win their division, win 11 games this year. I find it hard to believe that Buffalo's going to win less than 13 games this year. I think they're too good, and I think their schedule lines up perfectly for them to go on a run. They got another stretch where they play Houston, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and New England, and Cleveland for 5 straight weeks. That's just not the schedule that the Chiefs have. The Chiefs are in a much more competitive division, and the division that they play is like the NFC division that they play is just drastically different. So yeah, I don't think the Chiefs can be the 1 seed. I didn't really think that at the beginning of the season. I had them as the 2 seed, and I had Buffalo as the 1 seed. So that's just kind of where I am, at least when it comes to that conversation. This is what intrigues me about the Jaguars, and I know we got more time to talk about this. I know it's crazy to think, and I know the Chiefs have won and played in so many bigger games than this. If the Jaguars win on Monday, it will be one of the biggest wins in the history of their franchise. I mean, we're not talking about a franchise with 75 years of history. I mean, they've won their division 4 times. They've never been to the Super Bowl. They've been to, 2 AFC championship games in their time. Like, they just haven't won a lot of big games in their franchise's history. This goes a long way to, are you legitimate? Are you a team that we should be paying attention to? Because I think the most of you, the answer is just no with Jacksonville. And I'm with you there. They haven't really done much that we need to pay a whole lot of attention to. They haven't beat a lot of marquee teams so far in the National Football League. They don't have one of the better quarterbacks. They have a coach that we don't really know. You don't know a lot of their offensive skill position players. Like, there's reasons to be very skeptical about Jacksonville. If Jacksonville beats Kansas City, I think you have to take them seriously. These next 2 games for Jacksonville, I guess you can go 3 if you want to go to they have a game overseas. Not sure if it's in London or Ireland. Not sure where that game is. I mean, their next 3 games are against playoff teams, in my opinion. They play Kansas City, Seattle, and the Los Angeles Rams. So this stretch for Jacksonville will tell us everything we need to know. Most Jacksonville teams that you and I have looked at, they go 1-2 in these games, maybe lose all 3, and it's a nice little story, a nice little September that they had, but they completely fade away. You don't have too many instances of Jacksonville as an organization winning this game. Monday night at home, I mean, this is still one of the best times to catch Kansas City. I'd much rather play Kansas City on October 6th than play them on December 6th when they're healthy, they're rolling. This is still a good time to catch Kansas City. This is a really big statement game for Jacksonville. This game means way more to Jacksonville than it means to Kansas City.
100%. I made this analogy earlier in the show. If Jacksonville beats the Chiefs, it won't be the margin, but you remember the Chiefs played the Patriots on Monday Night Football. It was the same day as the wild card game, or the day before the wild card game, excuse me. And the Chiefs beat the Patriots. The Patriots were the Patriots then, and the Chiefs with Alex Smith, and I believe that was the first year of Travis Kelce. They went out and they smoked the Patriots, and it was, hey, we've arrived. Like, we might not be a Super Bowl threat, but we've arrived. You can't just say that, oh, it's the same old Chiefs, because they went out and smoked the Patriots. That's the kind of energy the Jags are going to go with into that game. They are going to let people know, hey, we have a chance to show we've arrived. We have a new coach. We have a revitalized quarterback. We have a defense we believe in. Like, they might not win. They might not win by the margin the Chiefs beat the Patriots that day, but this has a lot of the same feel of that Chiefs-Patriots 2014 game where the Chiefs went out and made a statement. That's how the Jags feel about this game on Monday night.
Yeah, I don't think that Jacksonville is in the place that Kansas City was, but I definitely get the point that you're making about this is, in every season, there becomes certain inflection points to show us that you're real. In Kansas City, when they were coming up, they had those games. Hey, if you think that you can win the Super Bowl, you got to figure out a way to win this game. I'm not at that point talking about Jacksonville, but if Jacksonville is going to be a team that we are going to take seriously, this stretch is going to answer that question for us. Kansas City is a Super Bowl contending team. Seattle is a team that is very much in the mix to win their division. The Rams have been to 2 of the last 7 Super Bowls, and last year went to the second round of the postseason and played the Eagles as tough as any team in the National Football League has played them over the last 6 months. So you got a chance to prove it. I don't care what your schedule looks like in the NFL. You can't run forever. Eventually, you got to play good teams. Whether you play them in September, whether you play them in October, or you can just finesse your way all the way to the postseason, and then you finally got to go on the road and you got to play somebody. We're going to get that stretch, I would say, pretty early on with Jacksonville. Let's see how good the Jacksonville Jaguars are. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with CDOT. Tune in as Nate Taylor of ESPN joins the show in studio every Friday at 4 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
The wait is finally over. Football season is here, and FanDuel is getting you ready for kickoff with an offer that you don't want to miss. New customers, you can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, any bet. Bet $5, and if it wins, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. Use it how you want. Build your favorite parlays, bet player props, ride the live lines, whatever your style is. Remember, FanDuel has you covered. Be sure to check out FanDuel.com/KFNZ. Use that promo code to download the FanDuel app today and get started. FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after free. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/royal rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Sailor Jerry's Rum presents FAC 31. Saturday, October 4th at Cable Dahmer Arena. Witness a full night of MMA action. Stream live worldwide. The main event is champ on champ when Jose Hernandez takes on Ray Hayes. Zach Scroggin will battle Alonzo Martinez in the co-main event. Tickets for FAC 31 are on sale now through Ticketmaster or the Cable Dahmer Arena box office. Sponsored by Gary Crossley Ford, Healthy Looks Pet Spa and Wellness, Dream Machine Motorsports, Apple Roofing, and Tintmaster.
Trust, price, and ease of transaction. That is GiveMeTheVin.com. We love to buy cars. People don't trust car buyers. People think the price is going to be wrong, and people think it's going to be a hassle. Trust, price, and ease of transaction. That is what we do at GiveMeTheVin.com, and that's what makes us America's best car buyer. Go to GiveMeTheVin.com right now and get a quote on yours.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
This is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football. It's the only place to hear from Andy Reid on Mondays at noon. It's the only place that has an exclusive one-on-one interview with Patrick Mahomes on Tuesdays at 3:15. And it's the only place to listen to the play-by-play with Mitch, Danon, and Kling on game day.
Touchdown! Kansas City! Travis Kelce owning this game!
This is your home for Chiefs football. This is 96.5 The Fan.
Legendary doesn't happen by chance. It happens because it's what BetMGM does. Sign up for BetMGM and check out all the exciting new ways you can make this pro football season unforgettable. Shoot your shot with same-game parlays, call your plays like a pro with live betting, or bet on a market you didn't know existed thanks to BetMGM Originals. You'll be on the edge of your seat from the very first snap, no matter what type of fan you are. Earn BetMGM rewards points on every bet. Take advantage of football offers found nowhere else, like a second chance on a first touchdown bet, and keep an eye out for rewards dropping in your account throughout the season. Never settle for the ordinary. Sign up today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. Must be 21 years of age or older. Specific promotional offers are not available in Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Couple of big problems down south. 435 is ugly. Eastbound at Metcalf, you've got a crash, and then 435 eastbound at Knoll, you've got a stall. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center on Val 96.5 The Fan.
Subscribe to 96.5 The Fan on YouTube to watch the show from wherever you are.
Welcome back into the drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Happy to be here with you guys today. All right, a couple of things. I am into the baseball playoffs. I mean, it's not my favorite playoff. I don't want to act like that, but it's certainly something during the week when there's no football that I like having on and I will keep an eye on and I am paying attention to. I've already placed a couple of wagers on. I am into the baseball playoffs. I want to share a couple of stats for you guys. Did you guys know that this past season, there were only 3 Major League Baseball games that took 3 hours and 30 minutes? 3. Before the pitch clock, the final season before the pitch clock, there were 347. Think about that. There were 347 games. I did the math. I did the average. That's around 18% of Major League Baseball games in the regular season took at least 3 hours and 30 minutes. They got it down where there were only 3 that did that this past year. You might also see this as a shock. Baseball attendance has gone up in each of the last 3 seasons. The point of all of this is I want us to celebrate what baseball is and not what baseball isn't. The interest in baseball is never going to be how it was in 1993. That is not the way America feels about baseball today. But that does not mean that baseball is still not very much a part of American society, American culture, and people really like and follow baseball. Now, I know it's repeat customers. The total attendance this year of baseball games was 71.4 million people. 71.4. That's across North America. That's big city like Kansas, that's everywhere. 71.4 million went through the turnstiles this year. So it will not be the football juggernaut on television that football is. No, it will not be that. But the notion or anybody implying that baseball is dead or dying or a dying sport, they are lying to you. They're lying to you. The business model just changed. People still love baseball. People still follow baseball. They just don't watch baseball on television if it's not their team. And that's different than the other sports. People watch NBA games on Thursday. People watch random NFL games or random college football games. And they don't really watch random baseball games. We got a lot of evidence to believe that that is not the case. But people still very much love baseball. It still very much matters.
I feel like I can't believe we have to have it. I am happy baseball's doing well, but I feel like I don't know if it's because of the stadium stuff that came up in Kansas City, or just I'm a small minority on the text line says every year, but they're always like, "Well, baseball doesn't matter. It's a dying sport. It's withering. Who cares?" That's just not true. It's just not a national sport. And let's be honest. You like the NBA, I like the NBA, we both like college football. There's only one national sport that rates really, really well. There's one. And it's really like pro football. Like college football does well in their postseason.
It does well in the regular season. This year's regular season is actually doing really well. I think a big reason of that is the fact that you have the playoff, I do think is giving more teams hope. I also think now because of the playoff, you can just play real games in September. So the lull, and some teams always are going to have that lull. Like you're not getting rid of the cupcakes, right? But like, you play Missouri, Kansas early on in the season. You start conference play in September where you used to start it in October. Like the college football season is just more balanced now because of the college football playoff and because you've expanded the conferences. You got to start playing conference games earlier if that's the case.
I agree, and I'm just not a point to diminish college football. My point is look at the big national college game this week and then point it up against the big NFL national game. The NFL game just blows it out of the water. It's not because the NFL is just such a superior product. It just the only thing that works like that is pro football on television. So people still go. People enjoy Night at the Park. The baseball playoffs, I'm sure we'll get an ESPN tweet in the next couple of days about how well they're doing on television because it's the playoffs. Like, there is still room for the other sports. I feel like sometimes, and again, maybe I'm just yelling at the very small minority in the text line that say, if you don't outrate football, you're just dying. That is just not how sports work in America, because then we'd be a one-sport country. We just have the NFL.
Are you into the baseball playoffs? I don't think I asked you that. I'm sorry.
I've been watching it most of the day back here. We go to commercial break, keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I keep an eye on it, for sure.
We were watching Guardians Tigers today in the newsroom before the show. Like I have an interest in the baseball playoffs. I'm not like as locked in as I am other postseasons, but I definitely enjoy watching most every pitch I can get my eyeballs on.
I know we're running out of time here. Excuse me, I kind of quick hiccup there. We know that this A.J. Brown situation is going to come to a head at some point, right? Like, that's not lost on anybody, right?
Yes.
I just want you to know that the A.J. Brown thing, I know right now it is going well. We all know what goes up must come down, and you don't win forever.
Is it going well right now? Like,
I mean, they're winning. I'm just saying
he's in the news talking crazy when they're winning. I mean, like, crazy. Maybe talking crazy. He's putting cryptic posts out. He's talking to the media about how he has to be in constant communication with the OC, and he, got the emotions got the best of him. Like, if this is what going well looks like, what does going bad look like? Because he's been louder than any Chiefs receiver when they were in the midst of their greatness last year. Or Travis Kelce was never doing this. Like, if this is the good, the bad's gonna be real bad.
I agree. I'm just saying, that we're headed towards it, right? Like, we all have seen this before. Unhappy wide receiver who's one of the 5 best in the league, doesn't feel like he is being utilized properly, but you can only push it so far when you're 4-0. You can only push it so far. I don't think they're going undefeated this year. I would guess at some point the Eagles lose multiple games in a row. Every season hits a lull, right? Every season. And, I mean, their offense isn't good enough to me to go 16-1 this year. Like, their offense isn't good enough. They're going to lose multiple games this year. Yeah, I mean, we've all seen this before. So I just want us to all be prepared that one day we are going to lead the show with how unhappy A.J. Brown is, because it is clearly boiling. You can see it happening right now with them. They didn't have a passing yard in the second half of the game. They didn't have a passing yard, and they have maybe the best 1-2 punch at wide receiver in the National Football League. Hey, come on now. Like, we all know where this is about to go.
Although I'm looking at their schedule, I'm not saying they're going to go undefeated. I don't want that to come off. It's pretty soft.
It ain't good.
It's pretty cupcakey. I mean, the Broncos this week, they're at noon again. Why do the Eagles just keep getting put at noon? Then they got the Giants on Thursday. Then the Vikings on a long week. The Giants again. I guess the Packers could be interesting. And the Lions. There's a 2-game stretch. But then Cowboys, Bears, this team reeks of A.J. Brown's post-cryptic stuff, but they still push to 13-4. Like, it'll be a story in the postseason. But remember, last year in the postseason, he read a book during one of the games. So maybe this is what A.J. Brown is.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. We all see where this is headed. Like, I just want us to know that that's how this A.J. Brown story ends. So I just hope that we're prepared for that's how the story ends. I had a lot of fun today. Hopefully you guys had a lot of fun today as well. Be sure to check out the podcast page, 96.5 The Fan. Also, check out the Odyssey app. We'll be back tomorrow. Patrick Mahomes is going to join us on the show. Really happy to catch up with him. And we'll really start the transition and getting ready for Monday Night Football tomorrow. Week's a little bit different because the Chiefs play on Monday Night Football. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourself. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got